thing.
Have you wanted to speak a new language, but thought it would be too difficult?
First pitch of the 2021 season for the Yankees. It rides inside, ball one, Garrett Cole. Against Marcus Semien, the second baseman. The 1-0 fastball ripped right at the shortstop. And a throw over from Gleyber Torres. 2 pitches, 1 down as we are underway. $324 million. A lot of money. Garrett Cole, his ranks in 2020. And it's going to be different. You kind of got to look at where he ranked relative to the league, given the number of innings and number of games that everybody played. 2019 is a fallback for you. Batting second for the Blue Jays, Cavan Biggio, third baseman.
So Cole will be on a bit of a pitch limit today. We're told he's not going to throw more than 100 pitches, but likely will throw at least 90. We'll see if he can strike out 10 today. No Yankee pitcher has ever struck out 10 in an opening day game. That's unbelievable.
That is hard to believe, given the great Yankee pitchers. As Eduardo talked about at the top, Biggio, 1 of 3 in the starting lineup, whose dads played and played really well at the major league level. Of course, the Hall of Famer Craig Biggio. Fouled off Gary Sanchez. One of the interesting aspects of today for the Yankees is that Gary Sanchez is catching for Garrett Cole. Last year, so often you saw Kyle Higashioka do that. Check a third, punched out. There's strikeout number 1 for Garrett Cole. And you can hear the crowd, which is such a great sound.
Eddie, as a hitter, you get 98 flying up through the strike zone like that. What is that like on opening day?
Yeah, this is something that Garrett Cole is really good at, and he maneuvers and he dissects each lineup. As you see Bichette coming up now at the plate, you end up with Teoscar Hernandez. You got to keep an eye on Teoscar Hernandez in the cleanup spot. He's got a lot of power. All the focus is usually on the young guys, but Teoscar Hernandez and Lourdes Gurriel Jr. are 2 players that are just the unsung heroes in this Blue Jay lineup.
Saw that Blue Jay lineup. It was brought to you by Dell Technologies. The shortstop Bichette, terrific at putting the ball in play. Maybe the power will come for him, and this is a young kid to be the starting shortstop, but boy, he did nothing to disappoint last year.
Ravi, I was told this spring this is his team. He's played 75 major league games, and it's his team already. That's what kind of leader he is, what kind of presence he has.
And something to keep an eye on is the battery. With Sanchez behind the plate, not having Higashioka back there. Aaron Boone wants Sanchez to catch Cole. They want him to be on the same page, and let's see if he can.
1-2, high and tight at 97 miles an hour. You see now if you throw something outside.
That's really a good pitch there. That establishes not only for this at-bat, but for the rest of the at-bat of Bichette in this game.
And it was outside, but he won't fetch. So we talk about second-generation players. When Bo Bichette was 15 years old, his dad, Dante, took him to his job, and he got to hang around with the likes of Troy Tulowitzki and others. So another one of those, like our own Eduardo Perez, tutored at the knees of some of the great baseball players. 3-2, fastball right at DJ LeMahieu. Good inning for Garrett Cole. Let it breathe, man. The crowd is fired up as the Yanks come to the plate for the first time. For League Baseball. New York Yankees re-signed DJ LeMahieu in the offseason. 6 years, $90 million. As we take a look at the Yankees starting lineup, it's brought to you by Dell Technologies, and this thing is loaded even without Luke Voit, who during the introductions came out with just one crutch. LeMahieu, Judge, and Hicks. Stanton, Torres, Urshela, Gary Sanchez, Jay Bruce, who had an interesting kind of 48-hour period when he was waiting to find out if he was going to even be on the Yankees. Then Voit got hurt, and he sticks. And Yinjin Ryu, the ace of the Blue Jays. 87-mile-an-hour slider in there, strike one, and that's a little different style than what we saw with Garrett Cole, isn't it? The numbers are unbelievable. Since 2018, Hyun-Jin Ryu trails only Jacob deGrom as the lowest ERA in the game, and that one's too far inside.
And last year he had a 2.69 ERA. The rest of the starters for the Blue Jays had a 5.06. This is a really important guy to the Blue Jays. He has to be great if they're going to make the playoffs, win this division.
He's sneaky, guys. Don't be fooled by the velocity. 87, 88. He'll mix it in and out. He'll throw the cutter effectively in on the right-handed hitter's hands, and then he'll throw you that changeup that he'll backdoor you with, catch you off balance.
The 1-2. And DJ LeMahieu right at the first baseman Guerrero, who is positioned well, and LeMahieu coming off of back-to-back years in which he was the offensive MVP for the Yankees, retired. All right, so in a rare one, Tim, which I'm sure you love, 99 will face 99.
Well, nobody loves numbers more than I do. The Mets have a 99 and a 0 on their pitching staff, but 99 against 99, we've seen it before, but we love it every time it happens.
One thing, Carl, that was really interesting is you look at the way he pitched DJ LeMahieu, hard in. With Aaron Judge, pitchers have gone to pitch him down low in the zone. You're going to show him something, it's always down in the zone. The numbers last year, not good at all. In the last 33 at-bats that he had, when he made contact on pitches down, he only had one hit, and it was a single.
1 ball, 1 strike to Aaron Judge. Set up outside as Danny Jansen. That's right where the pitch went. And on the appeal, ball 2.
When Ryu signed with the Dodgers out of Korea, Rick Honeycutt told me after his first bullpen, he said, gosh, this guy really knows how to pitch. And he's gotten even better since. He can throw any pitch, anytime for a strike, especially that changeup. Devastating when it's right.
2-1. Judge fouls it off 2-2, and he checks on the catcher Jansen. Ryu does everything else right-handed, and he kind of thought when he was a little boy his dad gave him a glove for his right hand which would force him to throw lefty. Then the dad was asked about that, and he said, I never gave him a glove for his right hand. He made that whole thing up. It's kind of a mystery as to why he throws lefty and does everything else right-handed. Three and 2, 1 note on Judge. He is gone, and you go back to last year. 13 straight games without a 2-strike hit. Not going to choke up and just put the bat on the ball like former number 2 hitters used to do. Oh, he was late. 91 that looked like 101.
And Aaron Judge is looking soft right here. As a matter of fact, Danny Jansen behind the plate first asked for the changeup. Then he went fastball away. Ryu shook to the fastball in, and it worked perfectly right there. Hyun-Jin Ryu does his own scouting when he's facing hitters. He doesn't lean on anyone else. He goes in, he does his homework, and right there it shows that that homework against Aaron Judge was a good one.
I was told by a scout this spring that Ryu reads a bat as well as any pitcher in the game today. He can read a swing and say, this is where I need to go next. That's how good he is out there.
Well, I know he's read the book on Aaron Hicks. Aaron Hicks struggles mightily on outside changeups. Swung and missed at almost 50% of those, and Ryu's changeups are located away. Fastball up, and Hicks late 1-1.
There are a lot of pitchers in the league that have to pitch to their strength and not to the hitter's weakness because they're not able to execute. Hyun-Jin Ryu has the ability to pitch to the hitter's weakness and make those pitches effective.
The Blue Jays bolstered their team with the additions of Springer and Semien. They also got Kirby Yates, who's now going to be lost for the season on one of those risk-reward one-year deals. Turns out to be too much of a risk. So who their closer is remains a mystery, as that pitch is located right on the corner and a changeup away to even it up at 2-2.
And Charlie Montoyo, their manager, told us yesterday, we don't have a closer right now. We'll mix and match. And the Yankees don't have their closer. Aroldis Chapman tonight suspended for 2 games based on last year. So we'll see how the 8th and 9th goes today.
Fastball, and it's by him. Good inning for both starters and for Doug Kazarian of the Daily Wager, who on Baseball Tonight said there won't be a run in the first inning. And he's right. Suspended that game. It's been postponed. Marley Rivera joins us now from Yankee Stadium on all the protocols that are going to have to be adhered to this year. Marley, good to see you.
Precisely, Carl. Precisely, Carl. As you know, the coronavirus pandemic has changed not only the world, but also, of course, the baseball world. And all 30 clubs, all uniformed personnel had to undergo rigorous COVID testing this year. At the end of spring training, Major League Baseball told us that they had conducted around 80,000 tests and only had 33 total positives. And 25 of those were players. That's only a 0.04%, which is very, very low. And that's why there are so many strict health and safety protocols. The Yankees were not one of the 18 clubs that had at least one individual test positive during this process. And these health and safety protocols are so strict, and also the repercussions for breaking them are strict too. You can have loss of pay, and not only that, you can also get suspended. And every player has to wear a contact tracing device like they do in the NBA and the NFL. So everything is really monitored. And even the fans that are here today, they've allowed close to 10,000 fans at Yankee Stadium. They also have to prove a vaccination. They had to submit proof of vaccination or a negative COVID test, Carl.
Okay, Marley, certainly will be different, at least to start this season, as that one is poured in there for a strike.
How about that right there? You're expecting 98 miles per hour up in the zone. Instead, he throws a 2-1 changeup. That's why Teoscar Hernandez on that one was a little bit off balance.
32% of the time since 18, Teoscar Hernandez has struck out. That one underneath the glove of Torres as he hit it hard. But a ball that Gleyber Torres liked to come up with. Last year he struggled in the field. He had 9 errors last year.
Yeah, his first opportunity right here. Doesn't get that glove down. He's got to get it down. He knows it. Ball gets through. Not a good way to start off for Gleyber. A play that most likely he feels he should have made.
They rule that a single, and here is Vladimir Guerrero. We like to joke that he lost the weight of Tim Kirkshin. He is a lot thinner than he was last year, which looks great on him.
Look, I weigh more than 42 pounds. Not much, but more.
It's a great job what he did in the Dominican Republic. He played winter ball, kept to a strict diet, with the ambition of trying to be the third baseman for the Toronto Blue Jays come spring training.
That thing was laced, and LeMahieu couldn't come up with it. First pitch swinging, Vlad Guerrero, and the Blue Jays are in business here in the second with 2 on and nobody out.
And Ravi, I was told with the weight loss, he's picked up some bat speed. He's quicker, and this is a perfect example. This ball is belt high, and he went and got it, line drive up the middle like that. Certainly more agile in the field, more flexible in every way.
Tim, it's easier to clear the hips like that. Of course he's going to be quicker, and I love it. Look at that right there. You can see the midsection, solid. What a great way to start the season for Vladdy.
And validation of the rocket off the bat. That was 114 miles an hour. How's that compare? You think about the home runs and the leaders when it comes to exit velo. 120, 121. Vlad Guerrero, 114 miles an hour off the bat. And here's Lourdes Gurriel. Misses away. Close pitch. First jam of the 2021 season for Cole. Gurriel did go 1-1.
Gurriel's a really good breaking ball hitter, and he's seen 2 breaking balls to start this count. See what Cole does here.
I think one of the big reasons is the Toronto Blue Jays, they're looking dead red fastball. You saw the single there by Teoscar Hernandez. It was a pitch up in the zone. He was able to barrel it. And then again, Vladdy on the first pitch fastball went after it.
1-1. That's hit hard. That's up the middle. Teoscar Hernandez rounds. Hicks picks it up, and the Blue Jays, with 3 consecutive singles, lead it 1-0.
This one a hanging slider right back up the middle. Give a lot of credit to the Blue Jays. They're not trying to pull the baseball. They're seeing it. They're lacing it right back where it comes from.
You mentioned it, Tim. This is one of the better slider hitters in the game. Slugged over 640 on sliders since 2019, and he delivered it for the 3rd straight hit.
Because he stays back and isn't pull happy all the time. Perfect example right there.
Rowdy Tellez bats. Fastball away. Cole nibbling and not getting the calls. Behind 1-0. Garrett Cole with family in the stands. His dad, Mark, who threatened to sit outside the stadium if they weren't allowed with the radio to be that close. It's the first time he gets a chance to be in the yard. And that one is straight up. Cole's there. Sanchez. Jay Bruce is able to make the play. Sanchez looks back up. Lost it in that cloudy sky, and there's 1 out.
Jay Bruce, of course, playing first base today in place of Luke Voigt, who's going to be out for a month and a half, perhaps, with a knee injury.
Of course, the Blue Jay lineup different. Randall Grichuk will start in center today. Would have otherwise been George Springer, who of course is not far from Yankee Stadium, where he grew up in Connecticut. 2 on for Grichuk, the center fielder, in the dirt. Good block by Sanchez, something he's worked a lot on.
Shows you the depth, though, the Blue Jays have. Grichuk's had a 30-homer season in the big leagues. He fills in for George Springer, hitting 8th. That's a pretty stout lineup.
Watch this block here. A lot of people thought originally that putting the knee down would not be conducive for catchers to be able to get to the side and block the baseball, but Gary Sanchez right there, nice job of being able to stay down low and keeping that ball in front of him. Watch where he was in 2019, the traditional crouch, and in 2020, 1 knee down all times. This is an adjustment that he's made, and it really paid off for him last season. He's worked hard at it, and one thing, and Marley can help me out with this, is he's had different coaches every year behind the plate, starting with Tony Pena, and every year after every year, it's just been a different message that he's been getting behind the plate, Marley.
Definitely, Eddie, one of the things I had the chance to sit down with Gary Sanchez in the offseason. He talked so much about how much he worked on his fitness and his blocking, and we can see it, and he feels a lot more comfortable now with that 1 knee down working with Tanner Swanson.
2-1 fastball. You just saw 87 on the changeup, 97 elevated to Grichuk, who bats in the 8th spot for Charlie Montoyo.
Elevate again. Just went there. There's no way Randall Grichuk can catch up to that ball with that swing. A little bit of loop right there. Do not do him the favor and throw him a slider.
3rd highest chase rate in baseball, and he won't chase there, is Grichuk, with 2 strikes last year.
Tim, you said it earlier, pitch count is going to come in play big. 28 pitches already with 1 out in the top half of the 2nd inning.
3-2, 2nd inning, big pitch. Oh, and he did chase there. So Randall Grichuk does again what's haunted him the last couple of years. That's only 2 outs.
So now he's got a strikeout in each inning. And keep in mind, Garrett Cole a couple years ago struck out a batter in 73 consecutive innings. I promise you that's never happened in baseball history.
Garrett thought it was 3 outs.
Yeah, he did.
He did.
subliminal shot at Glaber for not making that play. Fastball poured in at 98 miles an hour.
Eddie, when you can paint down like that at 98 and away, a hitter has zero chance against that, right?
Yeah, it's a struggle, Tim. I'm not going to lie to you. That's going to be a major struggle, especially when he has that and the fastball up that he can go whenever he wants to.
Missed away. I'll tell you guys, just looking around right now, Yankee Stadium would be considered balmy and 75 relative to what it's doing where the Indians are playing. They are playing in a snowstorm.
Poor Tito. Tito's always cold, as you know. Imagine how cold he is today.
1-1, great pitch at the knees, and Cole gets the crowd, the 10,000 plus, on their feet. And isn't that great to see? Ooh.
Ravi, I interviewed at least 50 players on Zoom this spring, and virtually every one of them said not having the fans in the stands was the biggest problem with 2020, and having them back is going to be such a great thing.
Won't chase. Sanchez, another good job blocking. Just to put an exclamation point on that Vlad Guerrero hard hit single. You just see him there now at second base. That was the fastest base hit that Cole had allowed since StatCast started. So no one's hit a ball that hard on a base hit against Cole since 2015.
Wow.
'99, and Danny Jansen, the catcher, understandably tardy.
We'll probably see another fastball here, but he's so good with his changeup, slider, and curveball. He can throw any pitch he wants, whatever he wants, but got to see a heater here with the guys going on 3-2.
And he spoils another one, and that is significant because, as Eduardo and Tim have pointed out, given that this is day one, coming off a spring, coming off a COVID shortened season, 90 plus is about the limit for Garrett Cole, and we are more than a third of the way there in the second inning.
And out of the 36 pitches he has thrown, 17 of them have been fastballs. Thrown 12 sliders, 2 curveballs, and 5 changeups.
3-2 again, and another foul ball. That one got Jansen.
Changeup right there. Little frustration on the Garrett Cole side, not being able to get the swing and miss on the fastball. He's gone east and west more than north and south, and I think he has to be able to elevate that fastball to get the swing and miss to entice the hitters.
Gets it on the corner. Garrett Cole picks up his second strikeout of the inning and third of the game. They will strand 2, but they knock in 1 with 3 hits, and it's the Blue Jays drawing first blood in the Breeze Dodgers, and picked by everybody again to do it again this year against the Rockies at Coors. The Mets and Nationals were scheduled at 7 Eastern time, and again that game postponed due to COVID. Astros and A's start a 4-game set. And like everything else, those games available streaming live on the ESPN app. Get a chance to see Zach Greinke later tonight for Dusty Baker's Astros. Giancarlo Stanton leads off the second, ahead 1-0 as Ryu misses inside. Mark Carlson calls balls and strikes today. That OPS plus, by the way, that you see there, that's 45 points higher than the average. on base plus slugging.
And obviously they got to keep Judge and Stanton healthy. Well, they've had awful trouble doing that. But when those guys have played together since 2018, they're 88 and 47. 41 games over 500. That's how important it is to keep both these guys in the lineup.
And one thing that G loves to do is opening day, loves to rake. 8 of the last 13 at-bats he's been on base. See the combination there of Stanton and Judge in the lineup? They need a lot more of that.
At bottom run differential of a plus 180, and in the postseason plus 31. There was thought that maybe they would have Stanton play in the outfield during spring training, and then that thought kind of went away. The Yankees are pretty deep in the outfield, and rather than risk it with Stanton, he's been primarily used this way as the designated hitter. Full count. Yankees trying to have their first base runner aboard.
Try to go with the cutter there. Fouls off a tough pitch. Interesting to see what Hyun-Jin does right here, because Giancarlo, unlike Aaron Judge, is a dead low ball hitter. Have to try to elevate against him.
3-2, and he got under it off the end of the bat. That's Bichette, who gives way to Semien. We give way to the studio. Hey, guys.
Ravi, happy opening day in the snow of Detroit. Home run number 1 of the season. Doug Glanville, career home run number 488 from Miguel Cabrera.
Best advice I ever heard playing at a college game at Brown University: hit the biggest snowflake.
He did just that. Slides into second, but it's a homer, Ravi.
Great to see, and great to see Cabrera doing that amongst many of the game's greats that are on the precipice of historical numbers. Breaking ball, slow one at 73 in there for a strike to Gleyber Torres, the shortstop.
And obviously, Ravi, big comeback year needed by him. 38 homers the year before. Full season, of course.
Yeah.
Last year short. He only hit 3 homers and 136 at-bats. Came to camp trimmer, fitter. We'll see how it goes.
12 home runs now, shy of 500.
Yeah.
I mean, that's an impressive career right there.
Yeah, Miggy's got a chance to get 3,000 hits, 500 homers in the same season, which no one's done, which would be pretty cool.
Second oldest Tiger player to homer on opening day. Great to have Kevin and Doug in our studio. And the truth is, probably better off that it's actually snowing there today instead of raining, because they probably wouldn't be playing in the rain.
Who threw out the first snowball today in Detroit? Is that clear?
Well, you start the season in the snow, and we've ended the season in the snow many a time.
Oh, yeah.
That home run, of course, comes off Shane Bieber, last year's Cy Young winner. Ryu nibbling, and he misses away, evens it up 2-2.
We talked about Vladimir Guerrero coming in shape. Gleyber Torres is another player that lost exactly what's on the back of his jersey. 25 pounds. He looks really good at the plate, and he's shown a lot more discipline, especially in spring training, with a different type of approach. Let's see if this will translate now into the regular season.
And keep an eye on, he just crushed fastballs in the strike zone 2 years ago, and last year he didn't at all. Hit 269 against fastballs in the strike zone. He's way too good a hitter to hit that low in those spots.
And an OPS of 1255 on fastballs, as you mentioned, against lefties. Ryu took something off that. That's a foul ball as Biggio is poised to fire over to first.
Tell you what, Hyun-Jin Ryu has the Yankees guessing up there at the plate. Instead of just seeing and hitting the ball, he's having them look in, and then he goes away with a changeup. Sometimes when they think he's going to go soft away, he's come hard in with that cutter. Look at the balance of what he did last season with the changeups, the cutter, the four-seam and the curveball. Just very unpredictable. Can throw any pitch at any time for strikes.
And he can jam you at 89 miles an hour because he reads the bat so well and has so many pitches in that arsenal.
Set up away. That one got a lot of the plate. Torres fouls it off.
You know, we forget Torres is only 24 years old. He seems to have been around a lot longer than that. He's still just a kid who's learning. So we'll give him a pass for last year, but he needs a much bigger year this year. And in theory, that's going to happen.
Feels that way. An all-star his first 2 seasons. Three-two. This one to left and shallow. Bichette going out. It's going to drop. And the first hit of the season for the Yankees, Gleyber Torres.
Eddie, when your first hit of the year is a little blooper like that,
it's going to be a great year, Tim. It's going to be a great year. Again, this time tries to backdoor the little slider. Is able to get the end of the bat on it. Perfectly placed between Gurriel and Bichette. Again, during the offseason, what did he do? He worked with DJ LeMahieu. He was with him, and then in spring training, same batting group. And that smile says it all. This is a great way to start the season.
And one of the important things that Gleyber also did, not only always asked to work with DJ LeMahieu in his batting group, he also worked with bench coach Carlos Mendoza extensively in his, shortstop defense. And one of the things that Gleyber told us was that he was very embarrassed by his performance last year in those 42 games. He committed, quite a few errors. We know that he really wasn't hitting. And like you guys mentioned before, his fitness was key. So here is the product of working with DJ LeMahieu and Carlos Mendoza.
And while we're talking about the Yankees and their coaching staff, their strength and conditioning group was completely blown up after all the injuries. So this is year 2 for Eric Cressy and his group. And Aaron Boone said, I see tangible differences in the way that I think everybody looks and feels. And we're back to a marathon with 162 games. You've got to be healthy.
He told us a whole bunch of guys are in the best shape of their career, which is a great thing for the Yankees.
Was that an example of being off balance? That was an 86-mile-an-hour pitch. Urshela was looking for something else.
I was looking at some of Gio Urshela's at-bats late in spring because he was held out because of his elbow injury. They didn't look that good, and I wanted to see his at-bats now during the regular season to see if he's able to turn a little bit. But that right arm, I believe, it still could be bothering him a little bit. Just looks a lot stiffer at the plate. The Yankees are hoping that not only will the glove but the bat work this season for Gio Urshela.
One of the better hitters in baseball on pitches inside. So Ryu continues with Danny Jansen to live outside. There's another one, and Urshela is struck out. That's strikeout number 3 for Hyunjin Ryu.
Lack of at-bats during spring. You see the changeup release, stays away, a master of being able to control the zone and out of the zone to get chases, and he was able to do that.
And now it's Gary Sanchez, who really struggled last year, hit a .147. He worked on being shorter to the ball. What does that mean, Eddie?
Just go from point A to B. Just last year he struggled in pitches that were inside the zone. He really did not even make contact on pitches. They weren't even chase pitches. He had a great discipline. Everything looked great until he took the bat out of his shoulder and the swing just got long, dropped so much on the right hand, trying to stay on top of the barrel.
Did he get that one? Gary Sanchez. Cracking to start on opening day, and a home run for Sanchez puts the Yankees on top.
So Ravi, Booney told us today that Gary Sanchez's BP yesterday was the best BP he had all spring. He said he was finally staying back and he was staying on that backside, and he said we've been waiting for that all spring, and his first at bat of the season he goes deep.
First at bat, first swing, and not missing it. Again, this is where he struggled last year, in the zone. That has to be a great feeling. In this inning, Gleyber Torres with the blue. And right there, they needed that big one. from Gary Sanchez with the blast.
And he needed that big one as well, coming off of last year. Great start to the season. First at bat, Gary Sanchez. Gosh, that's got to feel great, doesn't it, Eduardo? That has to feel great on opening day.
A lot of weight coming out of your shoulders right there just in the first at bat of the season. Did not finish strong in spring training.
Here's Jay Bruce with 2 down. That was a 2-out home run from Sanchez.
Gets that leg kick up early, puts the foot down, is able to read the pitch, hits it out front, and he has to be aggressive early because he has Jay Bruce, the left-handed hitter, the only left-handed hitter in the lineup behind him. Trying to get ahead. Instead, Gary gets the head out.
You talked about Sanchez last year. He hit 147. Yep. It's the lowest average of anyone with as many at-bats as he had. But it's that power is why they kept him around in hopes he can find it again.
So Bichette ranges out to center field. He makes the catch. First career opening day home run for Gary Sanchez. And it's the Yankees. Blue Jays were trying to plan ahead with Springer, and he's out. And now that Ryu's back on the bench, one of the questions surrounding the Blue Jays is going to be their ability to, well, get from Ryu to Ryu, right?
Well, again, the rest of their rotation's ERA was basically 2.5 runs higher than Ryu's ERA last year. So that's going to be the critical point to this team. Who's the 4th and 5th starters? How healthy is that rotation going to be? Because Ryu can't do it all by himself.
Ross Stripling scheduled to get the ball in game 2. And now Cole pitches from ahead, 2-1, top of the 3rd inning. Back to the top of the order, and Marcus Semien. Of course, we got so used to seeing Semien out west and playing shortstop, so he comes in and moves over to second base. Good offensive player. The Blue Jays defense will be improved. Has not been a strength of this team for Charlie Montoyo, so they're working on that as that one gets into the seats. And we had our first souvenir in a long time for a fan at Yankee Stadium. Here we go with Voya planning ahead. Mentioned Springer and Semien. Yates gone for the season. Robbie Ray bruised his elbow falling down some stairs. Tyler Chatwood, David Phelps, and Steven Matz, the offseason signings. And already you're out Springer, you're out Yates, and you're out Ray.
Good job right there using the changeup. He's been using that pitch when he's been behind in the count.
Whoa, he fooled Semien there, who took an emergency hack at it out of the glove of Sanchez.
Semien signed 1 year, $18 million. They told him immediately, you're playing second base here. Bichette's our shortstop, and they do everything together. They take ground balls together. They hit together. Great thing to do for a shortstop second base combo.
Popped up and playable. Glaber says it's mine, and it is. Kevin Connor says I need the ball.
Give it to me, Ravi. Hey, Shane Bieber didn't allow 4 runs in a single regular season start last year. He's given up 3 already. Doug, after this Jacoby Jones double.
Like anyone else, it's a location. If you can lay off that curveball, get the fastball, you can do damage against him.
Matthew Boyd, good in the start for the Tigers, Ravi. 3-0 in the 3rd.
Thank you, KC. Dougie Fresh back here. Kevin Biggio struck out looking his first time up. So we did the whole Voya Financial. What do you make of what the Blue Jays did? Because a lot of people think this is the Yankees division, and the Rays took a step back without Snell and Morton.
Look, I love what they did. Losing Yates is going to hurt, obviously, but Springer brings a new dynamic, and they're a better defensive team with Biggio at 3rd, Semien at 2nd, Springer in center, and they added depth to that rotation. They just got to get it healthy.
What a moment this must be for the Cole family, right? I mean, this is the kid, you remember the sign that he held up back at the 2001 World Series. Yankee fan today, tomorrow, forever. We saw that during the press conference after signing that big deal. And And now his dad is there, and his mom and sister and mother-in-law and his wife and son. Just amazing that that's Garrett Cole back in 2001, and now there he is with a sign at that signing and on the mound at Yankee Stadium. You talk about dream come true stuff. 2-2, good pitch, slider, strikeout number 4 for Garrett Cole. Biggio has been punched out twice looking.
And that's one thing that you do not want to do is go 2 strikes on Garrett Cole, because he knows how to finish you. This time uses a slider, a pitch that Biggio in the first at bat and second one did not see it at that elevation, thinking it was going to be down, instead right down the middle.
Eddie, did you like it when your dad would come to the games? Watch you play?
He didn't get to go to many of my games. But when he was at the ballpark and we played against the Marlins, I actually did well against the Marlins because I knew that the breakdown was coming after the game.
The best part of Eddie and the dad story was when Eddie was called up to the majors. What did your dad say?
Why?
Why? You're not ready.
Why? You're not ready. He was right.
Boy, Bichette's dad could play, and man, could he hit. Dante, of course. There's another brother, Dante Jr., as Bichette fires away, and he misses and drops that bat.
And let's keep an eye on Bichette here. He's a different hitter when he gets 2 strikes. He chokes up. He calls it his Tiger Woods wedge game is what he calls it. He says Tiger can hit it 1,000,000 miles down the fairway, but when he gets in trouble, he's always got his wedge to the green. That's what he does with 2 strikes.
1-2, set up outside. Late on that fastball.
Thought he was going to elevate it there. Already had elevated with the slider. He had chased it. Let's see if he goes up the ladder a bit.
Yeah, so Bichette was in the minor leagues, and the coaches said, look, you are so great with 2 strikes. Why don't you shorten your swing on pitch number 1 or 2? He said no. They didn't tell Tiger to reel it in because he had this reliable short game. 2 strikes is my short game. We'll see against Cole. Look out.
That's scary right there for Bichette, because he was committed with his hips so early that he could not get the face out of the way. Usually you want to turn away from the pitch. Instead, his body was going the other way. Right here, good time to throw the slider. Went with the curve.
Again, Eddie, as a hitter, you know he throws 98. You know he's got a curveball, slider, and changeup. How in the world do you make that adjustment knowing he could beat you with 4 different pitches?
You have to still look for the number 1. It's the only way you can make the adjustment. You look for the fastball, and you have to believe in your ability that you can recognize that secondary pitch.
On the corner, and about 86% of Bichette's called strikes are outside where that one was. Another 2 strikeout inning for Cole. He's got 5. We head to the bottom of the 3rd. MLB. 10,000 fans on hand at Yankee Stadium as the 2021 season underway between the Yankees and the Blue Jays. Carl Ravitch, Tim Kirchin, Eduardo Perez, Clint Frazier for the first time. Ryu misses inside.
Guys, check out that OPS plus at 150. This is a quick bat. Very powerful. You can hear during batting practice. I remember watching Clint Frazier in the past. You can hear the bat whip. Then the sound of the bat making contact with the ball is just different. So much power in a small package.
OPS the last 4 years, 715, 743, 806, 905. Each year it has gone up. A great sign for this kid.
They kept Brett Gardner on. As Frazier looks at a 2-1, he got jammed. He is quick. Here comes Bichette. There's the throw, and he got him by a couple of steps. Good job by Bo Bichette to charge.
Talk about location, location, location. It's all about Hyun-Jin Ryu being able to throw that cutter in. Get that soft contact, easy ground ball to the shortstop.
Here comes DJ LeMahieu after we take a look at Frazier getting jammed. And now the machine, LeMahieu. Foul ball. So second time up, I'd like to offer the fans kind of a different look at some of the offensive players. This is our second look at DJ LeMahieu, and highest hard rate of contact. LeMahieu ahead of everybody else in Major League Baseball. Hard contact means exit velocity off your bat of 95 plus or more 22% of the time.
And one reason is he hits the ball the opposite way. Had 38 opposite field hits, 7 opposite field homers last year, both the most in baseball. Hits it where it's pitched and hits it hard. The machine, when he showed up after COVID last year, Booney just said the machine is in the house, and he was so happy to have him back. That's how important he is to this team.
One, that one is fair, and it's right at Biggio. Fires across, and LeMahieu 0 for 2. Of all the signings that teams did, whether it was bringing a guy back or a free agent signing, how important was LeMahieu to the Yankees?
I thought it was critical. He's been their best player for the last 2 years. He was one of the best players in the game last year, and they are not in any sort of good position without him. And today, he might finish the game at first base defensively when they take Jay Bruce out.
Right.
He doesn't just play second. He can move around.
2 down quickly in the third. Aaron Judge.
Well, he got away with one there. It's a hanging curveball, but watch Danny Jansen, like no other hitter in this lineup behind the plate. Look how low he crouches down when he's emphasizing. Make sure you keep this ball down on Aaron Judge. Let's make him beat us down, because he was not able to beat many in that area last season.
Danny Jansen lost 15 pounds in the offseason. He narrowed his stance behind the plate. He's more agile back there, more flexible back there, and it's helping him as a catcher.
Lays off. Aaron Judge, of course, in 2017, guys, 52 homers. Followed up seasons of 27 and 27. And during that 2017 season, you would talk about Judge the same way you would talk about Soto and Acuna and Trout. We did our ESPN MLB Top 100. And he's fallen a little bit.
24 or something
24.
like that.
And if he stays healthy and he's in that lineup, he'll be working his way back up.
Three ground ball outs and a good inning for Hyun-Jin Ryu. Yankees maintain a 2-1 lead. 4, 5, and 6 due up for the Jays when we come back.
Missing location, gets frustrated, but like a good #1 pitcher he is, this time in the third inning, executes brilliantly in the corners, gets a 1-2-3 inning, and now moves on to the fourth inning, just dominating Simeon, Biggio, and Bichette.
Ravi, that wasn't even fair, that inning. That's how good he is when he's right.
Most unfair pitcher that you ever saw? Like, who was the most unfair? Meaning, who had the best stuff?
Well, Pedro had the best stuff I've ever seen. He had the best curveball, fastball, and changeup at the same time. I'm not sure any pitcher's ever had the 3 best pitches in the game at the same time.
Dubious look from your guy to your left.
I don't know, but when I stepped in the box and I saw John Smoltz on the mound, I was like, how do people hit this guy? Because I sure couldn't.
So I had a Yankee fan ask me the other day, is Garrett Cole the greatest number 45 of all time? So I said, well, you got Pedro Martinez and Bob Gibson. You may have to wait a little while on that.
Is he the greatest to ever wear pinstripes?
No. But he's really good.
Every year you go into a season with the Yankees and they feel like they're in a position to win a World Series. And you think about wearing that uniform and being on that team with that target on your back, which they all embrace and they relish. But it's been since 2009 they've won a World Series. And boy, the competition this year is stiff.
Fierce.
2-2 to Hernandez on the corner. Garrett Cole is starting to paint. 3 consecutive strikeouts, 6 in the game.
It's not only 3 consecutive strikeouts, it's on the corner, all of them looking. Again, slider tight. Gary Sanchez framing it up perfectly right there, making it really easy for Mark Carlson behind the plate to make the call.
Here's Vlad Guerrero, and boy, does he swing hard. You think Frazier's quick bat? How about Vlad?
Seen 2 pitches. You know, and this is where I have to go to Marley, because every time I look at her Twitter handle, there's always a Vladdy mention. She's, you know, been able to see Vladdy in many lights. Last year, she saw him thin in spring training 1.0. Then
summer
gained
camp.
A little weight.
Yep.
Gained a little weight in the summer, but now he looks a lot slimmer, doesn't he, Marley?
He definitely does, and not only that, those 42 pounds on from last, we have to specify it happened since summer camp, right? And we see him training on his Instagram. He loves to show it, and you have to give credit to someone in that staff that you know very well, in Tito Lebron, Hector Lebron, who is also his translator, and he's the one who really makes him work very, very hard. So Vladdy working his butt off and being very, very proud of it, of everything that he has done, and wearing proudly that number 27 in powder blue.
I want to let you guys know something that no one knows. My last 4 years in the big leagues, I wouldn't have been in the big leagues if it wasn't for Hector Tito Lebron. And I say this because he was the one that got me up in the mornings to work out in Puerto Rico. And I'll tell you right now, it's, you look at what the Toronto Blue Jays have done, and they bring him in not only to be the interpreter, but to motivate these young players. It takes a knack to be able to communicate with a major leaguer and them respect what you tell them to do.
Andy, the last one was the 100th.
Vlad got a good count, 3-1. Oof, challenged him with 97. Just quickly, how hard was it for you to wake up in the morning when somebody's telling you we got to go do all these calisthenics, etc.? Were you a pain in the butt?
I was a pain in the butt. Back in the day I was. And then I got used to it, and then after a while I was like, okay, let's go. But it was very difficult at the beginning to say, what? 6 o'clock in the morning, we're going where?
But Guerrero showed some great discipline, as Marley said. Remember, last year I was told he got tired out taking ground balls. That's how out of shape he was, and he had to do something about it. And Charlie Montoya told us, we think he can play third base now if he has to, but they've got him at first because that's still the best spot for him.
And last year when he came into 1.0, he was thin, but he wasn't strong.
Yeah.
Now he's strong. That's a great eye.
Guerrero, who proudly, as Marley says, wears that number 27 on his back. The Blue Jays gave it to him. Of course, his dad, 9-time All-Star, wore 27. So Vlad Guerrero Jr. on base for the second time. And here's Lourdes Gurriel, the left fielder, who singled his first time up.
Again, great breaking ball hitter like so many Latin American players. He beat Cole with a slider the first time up. Let's see what Cole does with him in this at-bat.
Challenge him fastball, movement back in on him.
We talked so much about Bichette, Guerrero, Biggio, and Lourdes Gurriel Jr. puts up some solid numbers. Again, he uses the entire field. We saw what he did in the first at-bat. He's a tough out.
He calls his dad, he calls his brother virtually every day, and they talk about hitting.
Yeah.
That's how much he loves the art of that.
7 years younger than his brother Yuli, who's of course on the Astros. His dad was the manager of the Cuban national team forever. February of 2016, the brothers defected as the skies begin to brighten a little bit at Yankee Stadium. That must be a great feeling for the 10,000 folks that showed up. There's a little bit of like you can breathe again, isn't there, when you're watching baseball and there are people in the stands like, whew, this is good. This is a good sign. Looking for strikeout 7, and he gets it on a slider away. Punches out Lourdes Gurriel.
Ravi, just think about what we were doing on this date last year. I don't know about you. I was sitting at home crying because there was nothing to do. There was no baseball. This is so refreshing.
Tim, I had a T-shirt that said "I miss sports 2020." I mean, this time last year in April, there was nothing going on TV.
So what was that?
Anywhere.
What was that number you gave? About 10 strikeouts?
Yeah. So Tim Leary has the most strikeouts. Tim Leary, 1991, he had 9 strikeouts on opening day. No Yankees ever had 10. That's quite shocking.
Cole has got 7. And it will not get number 8. Tellez off the end of the bat. Underrated defensive player Aaron Judge easily underneath that one. Garrett Cole is rolling. He has retired his last 10. And we are playing baseball again. Which team's going to be the first to score in the 7th inning or later? And this all has to do with our buddies at DraftKings. Blue Jays, Yankees, neither team scores. This is our late inning predictions brought to you by DraftKings. Play for $5,000 you can win. Talk about terrific athletes as Aaron Hicks steps in. So Aaron Hicks was like on his way to being a scratch golfer. And there was a story which apparently there's some video evidence. He was playing golf with Cheyenne Woods, who of course is Tiger's nephew, niece I should say. And he hit a ball on a short par 4 by his standards. It was like over 300 yards and he aced it.
And there's a hole in one.
Video evidence. He had a hole in one on the par 4, 305 yards.
Well, he half jokingly told us this spring, I'm the best golfer in the major leagues. And I think he is. And he said the last time he lost to a Yankee in golf was to Tyler Clippard in 2017. And he plays right-handed. He's a switch hitter.
I'm sure he hits it a ton. I think I would take Trout in a long drive contest. He was at one of those Golf Quest, and he hit it out of the Golf Quest facility.
Well, Brian McCann, when he was with the Yankees, said that this man at the plate took a lot of his money. And he said, never again.
I got better things to spend my money on than Aaron Hicks. To third, and for the 4th time we've seen a ball just roll foul.
But more important than his golf game, Ravi, he had more walks than strikeouts last year. And the only qualified hitters to do that were him, Juan Soto, and Freddie Freeman. That's a pretty good group. It is so rare today in a strikeout era to see anybody with more walks than strikeouts. That's why he hits third. He hits the ball in the air. He's a switch hitter. He can break up the right-handed hitters, and he'll take a walk and doesn't strike out a lot.
And look right there. Chokes up on the bat with 2 strikes. This is what he does, and he does it well. Understands what his role is with no outs is to get on base.
Chase one. Ryu picks up another strikeout on a high fastball. He's got 4. Aaron Hicks 0 for 2 with 2 Ks. Giancarlo Stanton steps in. Over the course of his career, we've gone from Giancarlo to Mike to Giancarlo. Home run derby champion guy. And pitch 1 from Ryu. Ball 1. Second time up for Giancarlo Stanton, so a second look little deeper dive into the StatCast error. 275 batted balls over 110 miles an hour. And look what happens when you hit it over 110 with him. A 756 batting average. Who's the last guy that hit 756?
And he's got him right exactly where he wants him. He's laid off 2 pitches up in the zone. Again, pitches him differently than Judge. Judge, they pitch him down. G, they pitch him up. Now he better come on in on 2-0. That's exactly what you have to do. Off the plate in, force him to swing the bat.
You know, Stan's played 41 games the last 2 seasons combined, but what he did in the postseason reminded us.
Oh, boy.
6 homers and 26
right.
at bats, and remember how long a couple of those blasts were. That was ridiculous.
Change up away. 13 years, $325 million. This, of course, given the Francisco Lindor 10-year, $341 million signing. Stanton, one of the first mega contract guys, hit 53 homers back in 2017. 3-1, beaten into the ground.
Jin Ryu, so good, just playing along with the players right there. Giancarlo's looking for the fastball in. Same one that he got 2-0. Instead throws him a changeup. Hits it right back to him. He's opening up. See him leaning back a little bit right there, trying to cheat in. Commits. Hits a weak ground ball right back to the pitcher.
Gleyber Torres got it started for them in the second with a bloop single. That was then followed up a batter later by Gary Sanchez, first home run of the year.
There were a lot of shake-offs last year with Ryu and Jansen. It's very difficult to catch him because he's so good. He can move the ball around so well, has so many options, but they're so much better together this spring. It's pretty much whatever Jansen puts down, Ryu's going to throw it, but he's still in charge. It's just a suggestion what the catcher puts down for this guy.
That's a good pitch on the corner. Torres knew it too as Carlson punched him out. So we head to the 5th inning through 4. Bichette, we will go just a bit outside with Bo Bichette when we come back. Stay up for it. Baseball diamond.
Oh man, probably just hanging out in my house with microphone and my laptop. I like to mess around and make music. Nothing too crazy, but it's just how I spend my time.
Will you write your own songs or you cover songs?
I write my own, yep.
All right, well, look, I'm going to be, if I don't ask you to just share a few notes, then I'm dead. So you give me something, even for 10, 15 seconds.
Man. I got my peaches out in Georgia. Oh yeah, I got my week in California. That's that. There you go.
That's awesome. That is tremendous. And you write this. Do you spend your time in these hotel rooms writing songs? How often do you spend time writing songs?
Yeah, well, that was Justin Bieber's song, but yeah, I didn't go too all out on it. You got me a little nervous on here, but no, yeah, I spend time on the road trips and at home, just mess around, kill time.
Bo, thanks very much for being with us just outside a little bit. We appreciate it, man.
All right, thank you.
So was anyone else on the Bieber song? Did you know that?
I was about to get all over you for it.
You do that.
Come on now, Carl.
Did you?
I've been to 3 concerts in my entire life. How would I know a Justin Bieber song?
Thank you. I had no idea. But the idea that he sits around and writes music is pretty cool.
I'm just glad he even took out the profanity in the song right there with the I was like, wow, look at him. That's pretty good. Not bad.
Jose Iglesias of the Angels has an album coming out with some of the stuff that he did. Pete Alonso learned to play the guitar during the pandemic, and the best singer on the Blue Jays, I promise you, is Hyun-Jin Ryu. He has a golden voice.
And Joan Moncada actually also made a song and a music video.
This is what you get during the pandemic and the quarantine. You get
great.
I wrote a story on this. It's coming out on Monday, and all sorts of guys did all sorts of interesting things, including singing.
I'll use that as my research tool for Just a Bit Outside. The truth is that the game has so many good personalities in it that they need to be exposed that way. They need to be seen. See, Kike Hernandez, of all people, had the number 10 selling jersey.
Oh, when you wear a banana suit for a couple years and then after that you start raking and you win a championship, it's got the personality. Yeah, but you're right. Kike Hernandez, who would have thought, right?
From LA, two big markets, LA to Boston. Red Sox were rained out today in their game with the Orioles. 2-2, and Cole, that one from Jansen, served into left field, and that is a single. Second generation players, got 3 of them here. Here's an update on another one.
Indeed, Ravi, so many great young stars in the game. The Bucks are on the board at Wrigley, Doug, thanks to the talented young Ke'Bryan Hayes.
Yeah, his father played many years in the major leagues. He has picked up and taken it to another level.
2-run homer, the Pirates lead, Ravi, bottom 1, 2-0.
Wearing the same number 13 as his dad, Charlie Hayes, and Ke'Bryan Hayes can really play third base defensively.
And Mr. Hendricks tried to throw him a changeup. That didn't work too well.
Top of the order, Semien in the 5th, and a slider called strike 1.
Start looking at that pitch count already. 82 pitches for Garrett Cole. Would love to get a hard ground ball to the middle part of the infield to get 2.
This one to left, and Frazier under it, easy out, second out of the inning, and retreating back to first goes Jansen. It's Sunday, a couple of series finales on ESPN and the app. The Braves and the Phillies square off at 1 Eastern time. And then our Sunday night game, Mike Trout and the Angels host last year's AL MVP Jose Abreu and the White Sox at 8:30 Eastern time, 5:30 Pacific. Since we got 2 AL teams here, what do you guys think? White Sox and Angels, both playoff teams this year?
I would say the White Sox, Angels on the outside, but
White Sox too.
I think the White Sox make the playoffs and the Angels don't, but come close.
Okay. What about you, Eddie?
I think the pitching staff of the Angels is going to be the deciding factor. We know that they can hit. They revamped their entire bullpen, it seems like, in the last 48 hours. They're hoping that those veterans, Watson being one of them, Cishek being another, come through in a big way.
So here's Kevin Biggio. He hit for the cycle. He's got 2 career triples, and he has hit for the cycle. So Willie Mays, Hank Aaron, Babe Ruth, Barry Bonds never hit for the cycle. He has 2 career triples, but has the cycle already. And he and his dad and Gary and Darrell Ward are the only father-sons ever to hit for the cycle.
This one the other way, and it is playable. Frazier's there. Good inning for Garrett Cole. We roll to the bottom of the 5th. Urshela, Sanchez, and Bruce coming up.
Like a good neighbor, State Farm is there.
Here's Ryu to Urshela to start the bottom of the 5th, and the fastball misses away. Urshela struck out his first time up. That was in the 2nd. Eduardo touched on it. October surgery to get a bone spur out of his right elbow.
So, Eduardo, how do we explain Gio Urshela? Hit .225 his first 3 years in the big leagues. Last 2 years, he's hit .310. What was the difference, do you think?
I think players from Columbia develop a little bit later, and there's another thing, another element to it is Phil Plantier, who was the hitting coach in AAA for the Yankees when Gio got there. Remember, Gio went from the Indians to Toronto to the New York Yankees, and Plantier told him, I want you to pull everything. I want you to hit everything in the air as hard as you can and pull and let your athleticism take over. And since then, I mean, he has really taken off to another level.
Two-one, look out, this may be trouble. Nice play by Teoscar Hernandez as he comes charging in. Marley?
And one of the things that is interesting about Gio, he lives in the same neighborhood as Francisco Lindor and Roberto Perez, obviously, two of them former Indians, and they work out every day together during the off season, and they do a lot of bike racing.
Yeah.
I know that is something that Eddie is really into.
I know you were a rider. Are you a racer too, Eddie?
I'm not a racer, and I don't have the. And my bike cost at least probably maybe $15,000 less than a tire of theirs.
Lindor might be able to afford a bike or two now.
Well, he can throw one my way, please.
Here's Sanchez, homered earlier. So how important is that, Eddie? What about, like, I got my first home run? You know, you kind of have a bunch of boxes you want to check. What about first home run for a home run hitter?
Oh, major. Major to get that one out of the way in your first game, especially in your first at-bat. Drives a lot of confidence. And this was the pitch, first pitch he saw, right down the middle, trying to get ahead. Goes out and does a nice job of barreling it, something that he struggled with last year. You look at the exit velocity, 107.2 miles per hour, the launch angle, 32 degrees. Absolute no doubter.
No doubter, translation, out of every ballpark.
And Sanchez had trouble with fastballs in the strike zone last year. Missed 31% of them. That's remarkably high, especially for a really good fastball hitter. That's going to have to change if he's going to have a return to real production.
Well, so far, a really good day for Sanchez, because Higashioka used to be the guy that would catch Cole. Well, Sanchez done a nice job blocking. Cole's pitching a good game, and he's contributed a home run.
He's called it, yeah, and you're right. And another thing right here, 3-1 count, lefty behind him. You don't have to look fastball in. You can look changeup.
Sanchez looking up at left. Gurriel's blocking the sun, which has come out, and he makes the play. Let's go back to Kevin in our studio.
Yeah, guys, Matthew Boyd had a brutal 2020 season, Doug Glanville, but in between snowflakes today, he's been excellent.
Well, last season, he wasn't able to get out of these jams. A lot of base runners through walks. This time, he found the right pitch at the right time.
8 strikeouts, Ravi, for Shane Bieber, but 3 earned the difference in this game.
Amazing, 8 more strikeouts for Bieber, and how about it? I mean, it was snowing, and now it's sunny in Detroit. A.J. Hinch, of course, takes over for the Detroit Tigers. A lot of good young pitching coming in that Tiger organization. It'd be interesting to see how long that rebuild takes, but they're going to be pretty good. It feels like fairly quickly.
Right, top 25 prospects, 5 of them are Tigers, and that's something to build with.
I really like Tariq Skubal. He is really good. Lefty.
Casey Mize on that team, the former Auburn Tiger. I digress for a second. I don't know if you guys have seen Jack Leiter and what he's done. Just speaking of Mize and these other college pitchers, he's last 2 starts have been no-hitters. And his next start, you can see, I believe, Friday, 9 o'clock Eastern time on ESPN2. He hasn't allowed a hit in his last 2 starts. Pitches for Vanderbilt. And the SEC conference has been so good. At one point, the top 6 or 7 teams in the country were from the SEC. Leiter and Kumar Rocker, who was so dominant in the World Series the last time they played it, front that staff. It's scary. And that's just a wonderful story for the Leiter family, for Vanderbilt. Fun.
It's a heck of a pitching staff. I do not want to be the team to have to go into a weekend series against them. LSU, you're next.
It's Friday night, 9 Eastern time, ESPN2. Is Bruce playing for Voigt, who you saw there limping around, that meniscus tear, had surgery, got it out of the way, and should be back. And Jay Bruce draws a walk. Download the MLB app, get in-game video highlights, live pitch-by-pitch, breaking news, player updates, stat leaderboards, and more for your favorite team and the rest of the league. This was going to be one of those rare days on opening day when every team played. And that changed when the Nationals Mets game was postponed because of COVID and the Red Sox Orioles game was rained out. But remember, it used to be the traditional opener. The Reds would open up the season. You'd have an ESPN game standalone. Today was all 30 teams set to go.
Supposed to be the first time that it happened since 19, what, Eddie, 68?
68, yeah.
Too bad. And too bad for the Nationals. Granted, maybe something went wrong, but difficult way to open the season for them and the Mets.
This should be the last inning for Garrett Cole coming up in the 6th.
Big pitch there from Ryu. Instead of falling behind 3-0, it's 2-1. With all those games going on today and tonight, and the cancellation of the Mets or postponement Nationals game, we'll have a baseball tonight on this evening at 9 o'clock Eastern time. Frazier, fair ball, long throw, one hopper, safe. Said Guerrero came off, and right away he points to his dugout, which translation means quickly go to the video. I need to review that. And then the dugout will determine whether we should do that or not.
Yeah, it seemed like it was a slow developing play right here as Biggio was not able to get the ball in his fingers. He pretty much threw a palm ball over to first base. And let's see if Guerrero's foot stayed on the bag, and it looks like it did.
No, it looked like it came off, and you can see him probably kick that right heel back. But the Blue Jays think they have enough evidence to overturn it. You fired up for our first review.
First replay of the year.
Oh man, he's safe. What a call. That is a great call right there.
Hats off to James Hoy.
Hats off to James Hoy. It has to be convincing. And that right there, the only convincing was done by Vladimir Guerrero Jr. saying, I got him, I got him. No, you didn't. Can't tell by this angle.
So first base defensive guy, what do you do there to keep your foot on the bag? Because it looked like if he stayed on the bag, he had the out.
Yeah, but he stretched out a little bit too much right there. He did everything he could. If he would have stayed on the bag, just waited for it a little bit longer, but he anticipated it. And again, because Biggio palmed the ball,
yeah,
it was just, he was out in front of it.
It's a really difficult position to play first base. Very underrated defensively. And Guerrero is definitely learning how to play still. Not to say that was a bad play, but there's the right call.
The video review confirms that Clint Frazier was safe at first base.
Well, that's the last time Charlie Montoya will look at Vladdy and say, hey, my guy always is telling the truth right there. From that angle, it looks like he was on the bag, but you can tell from the center field camera angle that it was a different.
A pretty big play, because now you got DJ LeMahieu up with two guys on.
DJ LeMahieu has made a living going the other way in this ballpark, and he's an RBI machine. 0 for 2 today. First pitch, Ryu pounds the inside, ball 1.
And he has not looked comfortable at all against Ryu. But then again, we hear so many times, third time around the order. Well, Hyun-Jin Ryu being the ace, third time around the order, he has multiple pitches he still can go to get real top-level hitters out.
1-0 the other way, smothered over there. Semien throw to first, and he got him. What a play by Marcus Semien to save a run.
We told you they're going to be better defensively with Semien at second. That was a terrific play. And you're right, Ravi. Without the dive here, this is a run, and he gets a third out.
On ESPN, our telecast presented by DraftKings. And again, time for today's late inning predictions. It's brought to you by DraftKings. Which team's going to be the first to score in the 7th inning or later? Sort of the bullpen question. Total home run 7th inning or later. DJ LeMahieu hits, etc., etc. As Cole back on the mound for the top of the 6th inning. To celebrate opening weekend, baseball fans can play in a free late inning MLB pool on DraftKings. Shot at $5,000 in prizes. Answer a series of questions on that 7th inning onward of today's game. Get enough correct and take home your share of $5,000. Download the DraftKings app and sign up now with promo code SHIFT. All right, so we get a little action in that Yankee bullpen. This is Chad Green warming up.
This is going to be Garrett Cole's last inning. You can count on that.
You were more definitive with that statement than you were in polishing off the last half inning. I thought you were going to take us to break by kind of punctuating that great play by Semien.
Sorry, I thought it was your job to take us to break. If you want me to do your job, I can, okay?
Angry Tim on day one. I like it.
Way to press the buttons. Well, keep pushing, keep pushing.
Well, Cole picks up strikeout number 8. And if this is indeed his last inning, he got a chance to get to that magic 10 number. Nope. Teoscar Hernandez watching this thing deep into the seats at the stadium. Big home run for Teoscar Hernandez, and it's now tied 2-2.
Again, Eddie, a breaking ball left in the middle of the plate, and he paid for it.
You know, hitters make adjustments, and Teoscar Hernandez in the first at-bat, they threw him a fastball up. He was able to turn on it for a single. Then they got him out with this pitch right here, slider. Kept it on the back of his mind and said, that's what I'm going to sit on. That's what I'm going to look for. And Garrett Cole made the mistake of throwing it out over the plate. And Teoscar Hernandez, who told me last year, I want to be in the home run derby. Well, keep doing that right there. We'll see you at the home run derby.
Only the Dodgers outfield hit more homers last year than the Blue Jays outfield, and there's the power of Teoscar Hernandez.
And a dangerous hitter here in Guerrero to follow him. Teoscar Hernandez in 19 had 26 homers. Last year he had 16. And remember, only 50 games. And a new ball game here in the 6th inning.
And one of the things that happens with Teoscar, he actually talked to us about that being sent down to AAA was a godsend for him. He said, I started working on my patience. I needed to change the plan. Started taking more pitches, trying to be more selective. And that's, he actually credits the fact that he got demoted from the majors to his performance.
Guerrero says, yep, you may as well check. Guerrero and Hoyt aren't having a great relationship right now. He said, is that a strike? I don't think it is, and it was called a strike. He thought he didn't come off the bag, and James Hoyt said, you did. You want to go to another umpire.
Yeah, to support Marley's point, when they sent Hernandez out last year, his slugging percentage was .299. Since he's come back after that 1 month in the minors, it's been .560. It's a pretty big jump.
And guys, the guy he's talking to right now is actually the one that works with Vladimir Guerrero Jr., and that's Hector LeBron. Right there.
That's your guy.
The guys go to him. They gravitate to him.
So before and after that demotion down to the minor leagues, you can see the massive uptick in Teoscar's productivity. He's always, or at least recently, been a big exit velocity guy as well. 98th percentile last year with an average of 93.3. That home run was 110 off the bat, and we've seen the connection between exit velocity and batting average. And Cole, after the home run, now a walk.
97 pitches, that'll be it.
So a very different taste, I think, in the mouth of the Yankees, their fans, and Cole, given the way this inning started. If you could get through this inning, lead with a lead. Instead, he leaves with a game tied. Chad Green coming in. Bullpen the rest of the way for the Bombers in a 2-2 game. Biggest signing for the Cubs beyond Boog Sciambi. Love the Jock Peterson play on the north side. So here's Chad Green. You see what he did last season. He is phenomenal when it comes to his fastball. Opponents just hit a .108 against it last year, which was best among righties qualified in baseball. So he starts off with a slider, a chance for two as LeMahieu throws to first, and just like that, Chad Green made it work. Lourdes Gurriel double play. Garrett Cole got a coat on, and now it's up to the offense to help him out. Aaron Judge to lead off when we come back. That can't be said enough as we welcome you back to the Bronx. Sun shining now, shadows on the field, fans in the stands. Garrett Cole and Aaron Boone discussing things now as it's 2-2, and Aaron Judge hits that one hard, and he leads off bottom of the sixth with a hard single.
Get a smile out of Aaron Judge right there. 106 miles per hour. Look at Jansen. He's been trying to get every pitch down. This one stays up. Wants it higher, up and in. Not able to execute. And Judge, quick to attack up in the zone, making Vladdy Jr. smile.
Not a shock. Aaron grew up wanting to be a basketball star.
And he was a really good football player.
Oh, he was great.
And he chose baseball. What a great thing to do, showing everyone play as many sports as you can.
Change up to Aaron Hicks. That's ball one.
Goes right back to that changeup away where Hicks struggles with. 0 for 2, 2 strikeouts last time. Chased the fastball up out of the zone. Ryu will try to keep the ball down here to try to get 2.
Look back at Hicks's year last year. He played in all but 6 of the team's 60 games. He did have his lowest slugging and isolated power since 2016. His swing rate was about 40%, which is low relative to the league, but consistent with his. He's really patient at the plate. And already working this count to 2-0. 2-1. No Luke Voigt today with that meniscus tear, and Hicks, of course, with Bruce now on the team, the only other guy that swings from the left side. The switch hitter late on that 81. Boy, has he got him confused, and Jun Ryu is pitching.
Oh, you see the guys rolling their eyes also, going, really? 81?
I told you he can jam you at 89 because he reads the bat so well, and because he's got such large arsenal, he's got hitters on their heels not knowing what's coming next.
Time to go away with the changeup. Let's see if he does.
Rolled over, maybe 2. Nope. Good hustle down the line by Hicks as Semien couldn't turn it from Biggio.
Hyun-Jin Ryu has been able to establish in, hard in, and because of it, everything is opened up away. Saw the changeup down and away. Guys are flying open, thinking, I'm not going to get jammed on that 86, 87 mile per hour cutter. Instead, he goes with his best friend and lets his defense play for him. Hyun-Jin Ryu, so far, so good. 92 pitches, 27 fastballs, 33 changeups in this afternoon.
And Ryu, little different departure than Cole. He leaves in a 2-2 game. 1 on. The Jays go into their pen. Playing it is opening day baseball on ESPN. First of 3 we have today. Telecast presented by DraftKings. All right, here he is. Tyler Chatwood now into the game. 5 games last year. He was with the Cubs. Of course, he's been with the Angels and the Rockies. And he gets Giancarlo Stanton to start. First pitch, strike 1.
There's a lot of cutters, a lot of sinkers, has a lot of trouble locating. He's got very good stuff, just doesn't throw enough strikes, but he's going to need some here.
First pitch cutter fastball can get up between 94 and 95. That one at 93 in on Stanton. So there were other teams that kind of inquired on Kirby Yates and passed, and the Blue Jays took that flyer on him for $5.5 million. And that didn't work out, and that's going to affect the Blue Jays bullpen.
Well, without your closer, then everyone gets pushed back an inning, and the Yankees are in the same spot without Britton and without Chapman today. But
Stanton, that's a foul ball.
you got to think, Eddie, since he throws the sinker 43% of the time, maybe this is the guy to get a ground ball, maybe get out of this inning, maybe.
You just have to be careful with Giancarlo because he is a dead low ball hitter. And sometimes you think you can get him with the sinker and he beats you to the breaking point where it ends up being a 2-run home run.
He was really good against right-handed hitters last year, Chatwood, with a 176 batting average allowed. Against lefties, a little different story, 306. Montoya allowed Ryu to face Hicks. They would have turned him around if they made that move earlier. Wild swing and a whiff as Chatwood gets strikeout number 1 against Stanton.
Definitely did not look comfortable at all. The feet moving as the swing was happening.
There's that very good cutter. If he can locate it, he's
Tim, earlier on in the game, you had said about Garrett Cole, maybe the possibility of getting 10 strikeouts. He ended up getting 8.
Yeah. Not that easy.
So again, Tim Leary has the most strikeouts on opening day in the history of the New York Yankees. I would not have guessed that. Whitey Ford, Ron Guidry.
Randy Johnson start any of these?
I'm not sure. Let's face it, nobody goes 9 innings on opening day anymore.
No, but they used to. I mean, they used to give you 7 or 8 innings.
Oh, yes.
So, look, really tiny sample size, but 13 strikeouts, 2 home runs, 2-2 game.
So it's a little better. Is that what you're saying?
I'm asking. The answer is it's way better because those things in the background there are really alive.
They're alive.
They're humans. It's really better. I mean, seeing kids at a ballpark is so refreshing.
Remember we did the Dodger game last year, and Justin Turner told us that A.J. Pollock
so bad
at the end of innings or after a foul ball would just fire a ball at a cardboard cutout. And now, thank goodness, we can't do that anymore.
You know, I realize that everyone's going to have something, if it's a hot dog,
yes,
or
yes.
Because if you're eating, you don't have to be wearing your mask. A lot of people are going to gain weight.
And Aaron Boone, who's a mask wearer, did say by the end in Tampa when it's 158 degrees, that just gets a little tiresome. He's one of those who's had the vaccine, 1-2 away. It's interesting the incentives that Major League Baseball has put in place for teams, right? If you reach an 85% vaccine threshold, many of the protocols that have been in place will then be withdrawn, which gives the player a bunch of freedom. Remember Dusty Baker and everybody else about being either at home or on the road last year was so different.
It's going to be interesting because the Cardinals were the first team to reach that threshold.
2-2 quickly to Kevin.
No team in baseball lost more games than the Pirates last year, but Doug Landfielder getting to Kyle Hendricks today. Here's Adam Frazier.
Yeah, a mistake with an 0-2 count, left it over the heart of the plate, and he took advantage of it, slicing it to left.
3-1 Buccos, bottom 2, Ravi.
3-1, and it'll be interesting to see what happens there with the Chicago Cubs. So the Jed Hoyer did come out recently and say, look, we're gonna sign Anthony Rizzo to an extension. That went the other way relative to the Lindor conversation with the Mets. He signed or agreed to a 10-year mega $1 million deal, and Rizzo and the Cubs were involved in talks that kind of broke off. Three and two outs here in the bottom of the 6th. 2 men on a walk to Gleyber Torres. Compete for daily cash prizes as few as 10 picks with MLB Rally. That's presented by BetMGM. Download MLB Rally app now. Restrictions apply. See official rules at MLB.com/rally. Here's Urshela, who has not looked good. 0 for 2 today. Struck out and popped out weakly to right. But he's got a big chance here with 2 on.
Again, that right elbow of his, he's letting go of the top hand. Doesn't seem like he can get a lot of extension on it from the swings that we have seen this afternoon.
Slow roller, Biggio on the short hop, low throw. Oh, nice scoop there by Vlad Guerrero. And that'll do it. The Yankees will strand 2. And we are tied at 2 through 6. 7, 8, and 9 coming up.
Pick it, big boy.
Vlad picks it.
Pick it.
Signed by the Blue Jays. Well, they played for 44 years. George Springer's played 7 years, and he's played in more postseason games than the Blue Jays have. He's played in more World Series games than the Blue Jays have, and he has 7 World Series homers. The Blue Jays as an organization have 12. And believe me, when he walked in that room, everyone said, we've got an October star on our team now.
Instant credibility.
Right. I was told it was a lot like when when Jack Morris walked into the Blue Jays clubhouse in 1992 after just winning the World Series, and then they won the World Series in 92-93.
So Green stays on the mound, and he throws 95 on the fists of Rowdy Tellez, and he pops out to Gio Urshela. So, I mean, the other guy that comes to mind right away, of course, is, well, Tom Brady walked into that room in Tampa Bay, and they won a championship. Here are the guys that have won trophies that then in their first year helped that organization win a Stanley Cup, and in the case of Justice Schilling, Ben Zobrist, and Betts, a World Series title. So all those guys bring that credibility. Maybe the team buys into it, and it works, and that's obviously what the Blue Jays are hoping for. And there were some other teams, like the Mets, like the Red Sox, that kind of kicked the tires on somebody like Springer. Our team goals were brought to you by Nerd Wallet. There's something to that. There's no doubt about it, especially if you're close and you bring somebody in who's been there and done that.
And especially when you're this young as a team also. If you bring in a 31-year-old with that kind of resume in October, that changes a lot.
And that's a different breed, true. It's not only that he's won it, he's an MVP in the World Series. Such a terrific athlete. Boy, they miss him in center field. But again, the report from Charlie Montoya was that he's going to be back sooner rather than later. oblique issue. They didn't want to force it. Now, 60-game season, maybe a little different, but 162.
Eddie, did you ever pull your oblique?
Yes.
How painful is that?
Very. Can't cough, sneeze, and it's not even on the swing. It's even on your takes, because it's so violent when you hold, especially on a slider, on a fastball in, that you have to be very careful. And the only recipe to get that thing better is actually rest.
Right back up the middle. That's a hard hit. Randall Grichuk, who's playing for Springer.
And for Randall Grichuk, he ended up signing in a 5-year, $52 million deal. AAV of around $10.4 million, now delegated to a backup in the outfielder. So he's taking an opportunity right here where Springer cannot, trying to get some at-bats and let Charlie Montoyo know that he's still a valuable part of this offense.
Longtime Cardinal Grichuk, as Jansen looks at a breaking ball that doesn't break enough. They'd like to see Jansen provide a little more offense, but he's there for his defense, his game calling, and handling that pitching staff.
Alejandro Kirk, their backup catcher, is their hitting catcher. And again, Ravi, this is where the Yankees are at a disadvantage today. You'd like to keep Chad Green a little later in this game with no Chapman, no Britton. So their bullpen far from at full strength today.
No Justin Wilson.
Right.
Two and one. So if you're thinking about formula for success over 162, coming off of a 60-game season, if you have as many pitchers as possible, like, do you need that depth to survive this because nobody's got those innings on their arm anymore? Is that the way to succeed, do you think?
Absolutely. I've been saying it the entire offseason. You know, there are organizations out there that have a lot of depth because they have talent at the minor league level that is probably 4A ready to get to the major leagues. But there are organizations like the Dodgers that are probably 8 deep when it comes to starters. They have Price and Gonsolin that are in the bullpen because that's how good they are when it comes to depth. They'd probably be number 2 or 3 guys in any other rotation. Instead, they're throwing in long relief, and they'll get their starts also. But you have to have depth because the bullpen is going to take a massive abuse this year.
Half these pens will be exhausted by July if we go at the rate that I think we're going to go early.
Misses away. 3-1. Well, the Rays, who bring Chris Archer back and lose Snell and Morton, if you think about their depth, you look at Luis Patino and McClanahan and Brent Honeywell Jr. and Fleming, like, their minor league pitchers would be starters on a lot of major league teams. I think it's premature to discount the Rays given the guys they lost. Sky high pop up. LeMahieu waves his hands and reaches over his head for the second out. MLBshop.com. That's where you can get your latest suit up there. Check out the 2021 gear. You got official caps, t-shirts, hoodies, collectibles, and more gear up at MLBshop.com. Producer Andy reminding everybody that the Lindor jersey is going to be a hot item.
Andy's probably wearing one right now.
I've got the Lindor shoes. Oh yeah, those are good.
So this is Marcus Semien. I'm not sure, Eddie, what happened to him last year, but his OPS went from 892 to 679. He was 3rd in the MVP race in 2019, and the shortened season, he just never got it going. But he's a good hitter, and I'm sure he'll be a way better player this year.
I had a conversation with Dallas Keuchel during the offseason, and one thing that he said was, look, his 2 months were great, but it was only 2 months. and you have to look at the guys that did really well and the guys that did really bad. It wasn't a big sample size. So Marcus Semien, every year he was getting better and better. I think last year he fell in the same category as Christian Yelich did. Same one as Baez also struggled last year.
Yeah.
So there were guys that struggled in those 60 games. And they're hoping that for this 1 year and the $17 million deal that he signed, he's worth every penny for the Toronto Blue Jays.
It'll be interesting to see how a shortstop does moving to the other side. I know Sean Dunston told me I hated it. I was terrible at it. Tony Fernandez, great shortstop, moved over to second, was terrified to play there because he couldn't see the runner. But let's face it, you don't have to worry about that anymore since we've taken out the takeout slide at second.
Very different.
And this
runner goes, Sanchez throwing a good
man.
one. Nice tag by LeMahieu as Grichuk is gunned down.
Pretty good day for Gary Sanchez.
Sure is.
1.77 average last year. Catch and throw, Gary Sanchez, you see it right here. He can not only hit home runs, he can now...
Watching or hearing and seeing highlights, freakishly good athlete.
Still borderline Hall of Fame player. That's how good he was. Came back and made a small comeback late. He was an amazing athlete.
Being a son of Cubans, and this was the major leaguer that my dad looked up to. And again, Minnie Minoso rolls easily out of our, you could say, out of our culture. And, you know, it's just prideful that my dad always mentioned Minnie Minoso in everything that had to do with baseball and Cuban, and as a person that, and again, it's very hard to explain knowing how much Minnie Minoso meant to my father. So it was an honor to be able to read that one about Minnie Minoso.
And Ravi, we had 6 Cubans in our top 100 major league players.
Yep.
Is that correct?
Yep. Yes. Let's go back to Kevin here as we are getting our stretch in.
Ravi, thanks so much. Alongside Doug Lanville, Kevin Connors, delighted to be here on opening day. Busy start to the day. Why don't we get you caught up on things going on right now? Indians and Tigers, Doug. Bottom of the first inning off Shane Bieber in the snow. It's Miguel Cabrera.
Miguel Cabrera is close to some major milestones. He's trying to get these 3,000 hits. He's starting off a great way. Didn't even know it was a home run. But what can you do? The snow got him.
Career home run number 488. Meantime, Matthew Boyd, how about 5 2/3 scoreless innings?
He did a great job of getting out of jams. He made great pitches when he needed them, even when he was struggling with base runners on.
3-0 Tigers in the 7th. A look at Corey Seager and the Dodgers looking to build on last season's championship. Clayton Kershaw going to make his 9th opening day start. And Ravi, I know how high you are on Seager.
Oh man, last year postseason, this spring, didn't miss a baseball. It felt like the way he carried that team last year. And for all the free agent shortstops, like the Lindor thing, to me, the trickle down is unbelievable. Like, think about the shortstops that are going to be free agents, and you just had a veteran guy signed for $341 million.
Seager, Correa, Baez, Story. Are you kidding?
Oh, wow.
Blue Jays have tapped David Phelps here to start the bottom of the 7th inning. They were his numbers last year with the Brewers and the Phils. Way inside to Sanchez. Cracking to the home run in the 2nd inning. A 2-run shot played at Gleyber Torres.
5 walks, 31 strikeouts in 20 innings last year for David Phelps. He throws that cutter and that curveball 26% of the time. Still a very effective major league pitcher.
Ripped into the hole. Bichette from his knees. Sanchez is safe. Great effort by Bo Bichette and good hustle from Gary Sanchez, the leadoff man aboard.
That's when you could smell a hit right here. You're not the fleetest of foot coming down the line, and Bo Bichette knew it. Let it go, and this time Vladdy Jr. stays on the bag, but he knew that Gary Sanchez beat it out.
So what a day for Sanchez.
Great day.
Great block in the dirt, threw a guy out at second, hit a homer, and beat out a ground ball to the deep shortstop.
And you could see on that replay there was a slight bobble hesitation, literally, that allowed Sanchez to beat that out. Phelps slider down 1-0. Bottom 7 of a 2-2 game. Opening day at Yankee Stadium, and man, does it look beautiful now with that sun shining.
It looks more beautiful with human beings
No
in
doubt.
the stands.
No doubt.
Well, you look at today, and between Gary Sanchez and Gleyber Torres, two guys that struggled last year offensively, they've been the bright shining light for them on the offensive side. 3 hits combined, a walk for Torres, 2 runs scored. Oh, the fans, Carl, the fans.
Baseball is so symbolic of other things too. It just lets you know that warmer weather is coming. Soon we'll have summer.
School's getting out.
Bruce, this one deep to right field. It is gonna be held up by the wind as Hernandez on the track brings it in.
Is it the wind or is it the baseballs? Again, and these are the big questions, right? Any warning track that is hit, any ball that's hit to the warning track, you wonder how much the new baseballs come into play, because that ball looks like he hit it a little bit off the end of the bat.
Moved away a little bit.
You know, half the players I talked to said I can see a little difference.
Yeah.
The other half said I can't see any difference at all. And it was explained to us by MLB officials. A ball that went 400 feet last year will go 399 or 398 this year. So that's not a big difference, but it's worth a try to see what happens.
Jonathan Loaisiga is warming for the Yankees as Frazier bats with 1 out.
And Clint Frazier had one of the great quotes in the spring. Of course, Clint Frazier got some, unwanted attention from off the field issues. And he said, I want everyone to focus on what I do on the field. And he said, I learned to make it a little bit more of a mild version of myself rather than a Tabasco hot sauce version of myself. And not only that, he entertained us in the Zoom calls all this spring with an Elvis shirt, a Titanic shirt. And to remind us of how young he is, he told us his mom did not let him watch some of the scenes in Titanic.
Really?
Yep.
Like the steamy scene in the back of the car scene? Came over in the Andrew Miller deal. He grew up with Austin Meadows, did Frazier. Played baseball together, different high schools. And this one, Bichette going out hard. That's going to find grass. And that's how they scored their first 2 runs. Gleyber Torres did the same thing, and it was followed by a Sanchez homer. And now Frazier with a smile, 2 men on.
Got in on him. But again, if you're going to get your first hit of the season, or your second in Frazier's case, you'll take that one in a heartbeat. 2 for 3 on the afternoon.
And it brings up the guy who led the league in hitting last year, led the league in OPS last year, and a guy who moves the ball around the field basically better than anyone in the game today.
Really good play by Semien. The last time up for LeMahieu, there probably weren't a lot of 0 for 4 games from DJ LeMahieu last year, and he steps up 0 for 3 today. Ball 1. Just incredible numbers with the Yankees the last 2 years. 364, 100+ RBIs a couple years ago, 27, and top 5 MVP in both years. Lays off that. 6 years, $90 million for DJ LeMahieu to come on back.
So, Eddie, what do you do here? 2-0 pitch to a good hitter like this.
Make sure you keep it down. Again, trying to get him to hit it on the ground, and he will hit it the other way. Second baseman playing towards the bag.
2-0, got a pitch. Got a pitch. There's a lot of movement on that two-seamer, though, and it worked in on his hands, and he fouled it off. Our researcher, Sarah Langsworking, tells us that there were 5 times that he went 0 for 4 last year.
Got that man coming up next. Hoping LeMahieu puts it in play, but he puts it on the ground to let the defense work for him.
And he's so good at taking that ball in on him and hitting it the opposite way. So just when you think I can run it in on him, he can still beat you to right field.
Clint Frazier has to take a big lead right here. Vladdy Jr. is playing way off the line. Try to cover that hole as Simeon is more shaded towards the bag to try to get 2.
DJ LeMahieu led all of baseball last year with a .389 average with runners in scoring position.
Take more at first.
Laid off 3-1.
You know, if I need a knock in a situation like this of any player in the American League, I'd take him.
Certainly in that conversation. Sanchez, not great speed at second. Frazier at first. 3-1, laid off. Bases are loaded with Yankees. And here comes Aaron Judge with the bases loaded. Will Charlie Montoyo make a pitching change?
Next for the Yankees, the right fielder, number 99.
I think you should. And one of the big reasons is Dolis in the bullpen.
Sinker slider guy.
Sinker slider, throws the bottom half of the zone really well. Phelps, ball sailing on him a little bit. He has to execute down in the zone against Aaron Judge. He throws it up in the zone. This could be a crooked number on the board.
What a spot for Judge on day 1. Ball 1, Phelps.
What a great swing he had in his last at bat. That line drive up the middle, instead of trying to do too much with it, he stayed with it.
Inside 2-0 to Judge, who when he was really young and playing at the Cape Cod League, and there's all sorts of scouts there, they said that's the biggest man we've ever seen come across the Cape Cod League fields. Then he dominated there, put up to 50 plus a couple years ago, and now ahead 2-0.
Ooh. See, and the reason ay, bendito sea el Señor. It makes me speak a little Spanish here. Again, watch where Jansen wants it down. Instead, that ball right in Judge's wheelhouse. You cannot throw it at that height when Aaron Judge is at the plate.
How many people at home just said, oh. 2-1, hit hard, but it's right to the third baseman. Biggio to second, and Aaron Judge into a double play.
And another scoop by Vlad Guerrero at first. He's got good hands. He doesn't have much range. He's pulled another ball out of the dirt here.
Take us to break, Tim.
All right, this is a 5-4-3, and we'll be back in 2.
Telecast of opening day baseball is presented by DraftKings, an official daily fantasy sports partner of Major League Baseball. Next year on ESPN, the World Series champion Los Angeles Dodgers, Clayton Kershaw on the mound. They square off against the Rockies. They're on the road at Coors Field. And then the opening night will wrap with the Houston Astros. Alex Bregman's bulked up. He's a lot stronger. They got Brantley back in the fold. They take on the A's. And like all games can be seen on the ESPN app streaming live. Aaron Boone told us that Jonathan Loaisiga's had a good spring, will likely be in this game, and here he is.
He starts off with a four-seamer. He throws that 42% of the time, 97 miles an hour. Get used to that.
Marcus Semien, the leadoff hitter, 97, and just missed location may have cost him a called strike because that was right in the K-zone box. Boy, what a big spot Phelps just wiggled out of with Aaron Judge up, bases loaded, and he gets him to hit into a double play.
And Charlie Montoyo told us before the game, he said, I trust all my pitchers. I trust in my entire bullpen. I can put them in any situation. If it's high leverage, it doesn't matter. And right there, he proved it by leaving Phelps in that situation.
That one is high, 3-1. They're standing by in the studio with an update on an injured player in the Twins-Brewers game. Big series interleague between those two teams. Brandon Woodruff gets the start for the Brewers. Hasn't gotten a Cy Young vote, but he showed last year he's one of those guys that could be sneaky Cy Young good. 98, 3-2.
All four-seamers so far, and we'll see one here too, I'm sure.
Ooh, what a changeup, and he got him. Let's go back to Kevin.
You would have struck out.
There you go.
Yeah, and Ravi, you talked about it. First at bat of the first game of the season for Josh Donaldson. Doug Glanville, what did you see?
You know, it came around first, and you just see the little skip step, kind of hops there. Looks like something that impacted him. They had to get him out of the game.
He's been taken out, the former Jays MVP, as the Twins lead 2-1.
Yeah, that's brutal. And you do wonder about injuries this season. Survival of the fittest, whether it's arms, legs. Seen a lot of lower body injuries to start this season as Biggio pops this straight up. And Loaisiga's got quickly 2 down.
And that'll bring up Bo Bichette. We saw him shake his head a couple times facing Garrett Cole. I'm sure he's happy to see somebody else. This kid is a really good hitter. Only 76 big league games counting this, but a lifetime 300 hitter so far, and nothing to think that's not going to continue.
At 307 last year. Beaten into the ground. Bruce vacated first. LeMahieu will get it to Loaisiga. Nice job by Loaisiga, as Jay Bruce drifted far off the bag on a routine play by LeMahieu at second. Make a good play in the field. This magic moment is brought to you by Walt Disney World Resorts, and it's the Gary Sanchez second inning home run off Yinjin Ryu. Gave the Yankees a 2-1 lead. And you show all of what Sanchez has done great today. We didn't see the block of a couple of pitches in the dirt, but he has delivered big time for the Yankees. Hustled down the first base line to beat out an infield hit. Good start for El Kraken, but it'll be Hicks, Stanton, Torres, or Urshela before you get to Gary Sanchez. Well, here's your secret slider guy that Eddie was talking about, Rafael Dolis.
And a couple years ago, he was in Japan, relatively over there just closing games, and then all of a sudden last year in Toronto made a name for himself. Made Charlie Montoyo's life a lot easier coming from the pen.
31 strikeouts in 24 innings last year. That slider is his best pitch. They hit 111 against it last year, but he throws the sinker more than anything.
So the switch hitter Aaron Hicks will now bat from the left side, and a good guy to have lead off the inning if you're the Yanks, given his on-base percentage. Two-seamer off that front hip, a tough pitch for a hitter. It just missed inside.
Outfield plays Hicks straight up. Bichette just shaded on the shortstop side, almost behind second base.
Coming in again. And he missed this location, but Hicks swings through it.
If Dolis can get through this unscathed and the Blue Jays score a run, then they have Jordan Romano for the ninth, which would be exactly what they would like it to be if it all works out.
Well, he's behind 3-1. It's once again Hicks who takes an average of about 4.2 pitches per at bat. He's there already.
Again, Ravi, it bears repeating. More walks and strikeouts last year. Juan Soto, Freddie Freeman, Aaron Hicks. It's just so unusual today, and this is why having a patient guy in the middle of this order with the big boys coming up next.
Just misses above the zone, and a leadoff walk to start off the bottom of the eighth. Back to Kevin.
And Rafi, we want to let you know that the Dodgers' pursuit of another championship here in 2021 will begin on ESPN2. Clayton Kershaw set to make his 9th opening day start. Let's see if Timmy can contort his body that way. Dodgers Rockies coming your way on ESPN2, 15 minutes.
You mean again? I mean, we saw that already. Here's Stanton. Well, that one is at the top of the zone, and this called to strike. Watch out for Gavin Lux, too, on the Dodgers. He's going to be their primary second baseman. They just got better. Of course, Trevor Bauer now member of the Dodgers as well.
That's where you have to pitch Giancarlo. Right there, top of the zone. Challenge him with the heat. You can elevate a little bit more. Now 0-2 be the perfect pitch. Don't try to trick him anything down unless it's away from the zone.
They tried. Is there anything a hitter can do? Because if you know it, the pitcher knows it, and the hitter knows it, is there anything he can do to improve on that skill, hitting the fastball up?
I remember having a conversation with Ozzie Virgil, and Ozzie Virgil told me you're either a high ball hitter or a low ball hitter, but you can't be both.
Really?
If you are, your name's Barry Bonds. And that was years ago. And again, it's Giancarlo. He's always been a true low ball hitter. That's what he hunts. That's what he sees. He's actually stood up more, and standing straight up has helped him handle pitches middle up that isn't high in velocity. But right now, Dolis, sneaky fast at 95, perceived velocity around 97. It's tough to catch up unless he's cheating up in the zone.
Stanton strikes out 95 with some movement from Dolis.
I had one of the Yankees tell me a couple years ago that Stanton is the strangest hitter he's ever seen. He said, I can't believe how hard he hits it, how far he hits it, and yet when he swings it poorly, he looks as bad as almost anyone in the league. You just got to figure out which guy you're getting from at bat to at bat. Strangest hitter.
Gleyber Torres, he is got a single, he struck out, and a walk. So he's been on twice. And strike one. Major League Baseball doesn't have the universal DH. They still have the runner on second to start the extra innings if needed. There will be some 7-inning doubleheader scheduled. That was a bit of a frustrating kind of conversation that you couldn't end up with the universal designated hitter because it feels like everybody wants it.
It was used as a bargaining chip, and this is not the time to be using bargaining chips for a new CBA in December. We got to get through the season in the best way possible. They should have found a way to get the DH in both leagues.
Felt like I was in an ice cream shop and they gave me a little taste test of each flavor, and now I can't order my cone.
Off the menu.
Yeah.
Gio Urshela got a little run at shortstop during the spring. He's played there before. Gleyber Torres had those 9 errors last year, but in emergency only.
Torres and Urshela played a lot of video games during the pandemic. They played a lot of Call of Duty, and they called themselves Team G. Gio and Gleyber.
Yeah.
And they're apparently pretty good at it, but they acknowledge we're better on the left side of the infield than we are at Call of Duty. But now Duty calls. This guy's got to get him over to third somehow with 1 out and get this run in. That's what the Yankees are looking for.
You're kind of peaking here late in the game.
Saving the best for last.
2-2, end of the bat, pops straight up in the air. 2 down. Vlad Guerrero makes that easy play. Or was it that easy? All right, the lineup looks like this. NBA, you got the Lakers and the Clippers, 3:30 Eastern time. Then on ESPN, the NCAA Women's National Championship game at 6 o'clock Eastern time. And our Sunday night baseball matchup is the series finale of the White Sox and the Angels. That is a really good lineup. The only thing missing from that would be the counter programming to the Women's Championship, which is baseball tonight on ESPN2 at 6. 2 down, and Dolis grunts as he fires that one to Gio Urshela.
That's one Urshela wants back. 94 right down the middle. Came up with some big hits Gio Urshela has since put on this Yankee uniform, and when he's going well, he's hitting the ball and driving it to right center field.
Let's not forget he took the job away from Miguel Andujar, who's on the DL now with carpal tunnel. So this is their third baseman, you know, bad elbow or not for the moment. And for the season, he's that good.
Tell you, Vladdy, without that weight that he took off, looks a lot more like his dad.
Buster only just texted saying that Lindor, Francisco, was on a conference call, and he said one of the first guys he called regarding his new deal was the one at the plate. You mentioned the Call of Duty, but he says Gio is his best friend, so he called him. What time that phone call occurred? That may be a wake up. Like, he would have woken you up. If you were on the Lindor call list, I got my deal done, you'd be woken up, right, Tim?
I think it would have gotten Eddie out of bed.
No doubt.
Ouch. 1-1 right off the mask of Danny Jansen. Whee! That is brutal.
Nothing like taking one of those on opening day. Catchers. Jeff Torborg once said, catcher, it's got to be a reason why we're the only ones facing the other way. And there's another example.
The other part about catchers, the proliferation of the catchers that have become major league managers. They're all over the place. Disproportionate amount. 1-2, good pitch. See you later as Urshela strikes out. Bottom of the 8th in the books. We head to the 9th. Dodgers game, you can see that on ESPN2 as we play this one of the finale right here on ESPN. And Garrett Cole was on fire early. So was Hyunjin Ryu, getting Aaron Judge there, but he gave up that long home run. Fan gets a freebie. Teoscar Hernandez then, when Cole was looking to get through. Look, I don't need that up in here. Ball back on the field.
We did not see that last season.
Didn't see this last year in the Bronx either. Darren O'Day, the submariner, now on here in the 9th inning for New York. And great numbers across the board for O'Day. With Atlanta last year, terrific ERA, strikeout to walk ratio. It's really hard to elevate a baseball against this guy.
Eddie, how disconcerting of an at-bat is it for a right-handed hitter seeing him come from that arm slot?
You have to change your entire game plan. Right here, you have to cut off the left part of the field. Focus on hitting and driving the ball to right field. And if he does throw a breaking pitch, then that's the time you pull, because that bat head will stay in the zone long enough for you to barrel it. But it is difficult because that fastball has the appearance that it's actually rising, and you rarely see, I won't say never, but you rarely see it come in from that direction with that velocity.
But given the release point, it is rising.
It is rising at that time, yes.
Yeah. Oh, 2 to Teoscar Hernandez. Quick check, Ahoy at first. No, he didn't.
You look up and you look to drive to right field. That's what you do on the fastball. And if you can recognize spin, you can still stay on it and then pull it fair.
Righties hit just a $143 against O'Day last season.
Good job by Hernandez right there, just fighting that one off.
Vlad Guerrero on deck, and we talked about how he's changed his swing, gets a little more lift in it. And that bright sunshine and that 1 o'clock Eastern start, you're going to start to see those shadows move more towards the pitcher's mound, which would increase the challenge for the hitter. Beaten into the ground. Charity hop, low throw. Jay Bruce safe. Did Hernandez just beat it out?
Beat it out. One thing that Gleyber Torres was doing, he was playing in the hole, so he had to go a little ways to go to his left, and then the ball comes up.
It hits him in the stomach here, look.
Hits him in, yeah, hits him right off the glove into the stomach area. Good job by Bruce just trying to cradle it. But he took for granted the speed of Teoscar Hernandez, and you have to give Hernandez a lot of credit, just going down that line hustling. Have to know the runner.
That's got to be an out there, and Teoscar Hernandez beat that ball out. Got to be a little more urgent there from the shortstop.
And now the dangerous Vladimir Guerrero. He's reached base all 3 times. Single and 2 walks.
He's been swinging at that first pitch, Eddie.
He likes it.
That backs up your point, though, Eddie. If you think about staying on that and going to right, because he pulled off, he had no chance to hit that slider.
It's that ball and drives it to right center. You try to pull, you're in trouble. You're playing right into Darren O'Day's game of the ground ball rollover. And because Jay Bruce is up second next inning, he's still out there playing defense in a tie game.
Slider away. His dad, Vlad Guerrero Sr., was one of, if not the most notorious bad ball hitters of all time.
One reason he was so great, pitchers didn't know where to throw it because he could hit it up, down, off his shoe tops, tomahawk the high ball.
They stay away. 0-2. Oh, close.
That's a good pitch. Right there at the knees. Darren O'Day wanted it. Again, this is a game plan that little by little the young Vladdy will understand. You have to eliminate one side of the field with these guys. Now let's see if he tries just to elevate, just to show him something different.
K-zone 3D did have it as a strike, and so did that guy over the right shoulder of the home plate umpire. Animated. He punched out Guerrero, but he doesn't count. But he had a strike 3.
Just as it is difficult for the hitter with the shadows now creeping up, it is also for Mark Carlson behind the plate, who has called a very good game.
One, two, Guerrero jammed, and he fires his bat in disgust as LeMahieu retires Guerrero. First time he has been retired. Let's go back to Kevin.
Ravi, the Twins will be in the mix in the Central all season long. Doug Glanville, Luis Arraez, part of a loaded lineup.
And he's the balance point because the contact hitter keeps the ball in play, cuts down on the strikeouts.
Andrelton Simmons, 2 hits in his Twins debut. Meantime, Braves and Phillies, JT Realmuto, kind of a pool cue shot through the right side.
Somewhere his right finger is out there in right field, but he got it done.
2-0 Phil's lead, bottom 3. Ravi?
A lot of energy there as the Phillies and Harper look for better things this season. Roberto Perez, by the way, just hit a home run for the Cleveland Indians to make their game closer. Now 3-2 against the Tigers. Again, no Justin Wilson, no Aroldis Chapman, no Zach Britton for Aaron Boone. One of the things Brian Cashman focused on was building a better, deeper bullpen this year.
Britton's going to be out 3 months.
Yeah.
Wilson not nearly as bad.
Yeah.
It looks like he's going to be okay soon.
2-1.
It's a little show me fastball there. He'll stay down again. He's trying to look for that defense to work. With the ground ball, try to get 2.
Two, 1. 2-2. Kevin.
Ravi, over on ESPN2, Dodgers Rockies underway right now in Colorado. Mookie Betts just led off the game with a single, so LA picking up where they left off a year ago. Scoreless on ESPN2. You'll see it full here on ESPN after we go final in the Bronx.
I've heard a lot of people talk about Mookie Betts as an MVP candidate, but why wouldn't you? So that game on ESPN2.
It's a great story in the bullpen with Lucas Luetge.
And he's coming in next, Eddie, isn't he?
Well, Rowdy Tellez is due up next, but I would not be surprised at all if Charlie Montoyo decides to go with Alejandro Kirk.
The hitting catcher who's only, what, 22 years old to make the team?
He is an offensive machine, and he hits the ball and sprays it to all parts of the field. That's what happens when you try to pull your thinking pull off a guy like that. You'll barrel it, but it's just a hard strike.
Frazier gets a chance to fire a ball to a fan. What a feeling that is for that guy. Going home with a Major League Baseball.
And that other guy threw a ball back on the field.
The younger one's going to do a show and tell. The other one had nothing to tell about that.
Remember, Gurriel really hits the breaking ball. Hit a slider from Cole in his first at bat for a line drive up the middle. O'Day throws a lot of sliders.
So far, pinpoint control and accuracy. This one looks like he wants it up, and it was, and the arms got extended. This one into the corner in right. Judge is over there. But it's a foul ball, and you can see there's about 4 feet of foul territory. You go right back down again, Eddie. That just feels dangerous when you start to elevate.
That's not his game. He tries to do that for show, just to change the eye level a little bit and then go right back down. He's looking for that contact on the ground. In a perfect world, it would be a 6-4-3 right here for Darren O'Day.
Sanchez got hit, I think, with that bat on the follow through of Gurriel Jr. He also dropped the ball.
Got him good too.
Watch Gurriel here. Is it the bat that follows through that knocks the ball out of the glove?
Yes.
So it wasn't a dropped third strike. He's out on strikes.
Oh, that hurt. Again, so you want it to be a catcher. It's a bad feeling as a hitter when you feel contact back there. You're hoping first that it's not anywhere near the head or the hand.
So they're going to stay with Darren O'Day against the left-handed hitter who has great power, Rowdy Tellez.
ESPN Plus Friday Night Baseball West Coast. Fernando Tatis Jr. The Padres hosting the Diamondbacks. Second of their 4-game series, 10 Eastern, 7 Pacific. Merrill Kelly starting for Arizona. Blake Snell will make his debut for the Padres. To get ESPN Plus, go to espnplus.com or download the ESPN app.
That meeting was simple. You don't have to give in. Make him chase out of the zone.
Look out, bat splinters.
Wow. I'll tell you right now, he missed his spot completely. It was right in Rowdy Tellez. I think it surprised Rowdy as well. Watch where Gary wants it and look where the pitch was. Wanted it away instead. Too much of the plate. The one guy you cannot make a mistake that has a big time advantage on Darren.
8 homers, 127 at bats for this guy last year. Slugged .540. They'll tell you he's the strongest guy on our team.
Yeah. He was really strong as a baby. He was making noise in the womb, and the grandmother named him Rowdy, and it stuck before he was even born. Real name is Ryan. The Rowdy's just a nickname, but grandma was all over Rowdy and his kicking. Yankees will lead off the inning with Gary Sanchez in the bottom of the 9th. 1-1, 1-2 as the rising fastball goes by him.
And Eddie, that's what you're talking about. He's changing the eye level here, so he sees down, and then he beats him up at 86 miles an hour.
But you don't want to pitch Rowdy down. Remember, left-handed hitter right here, from where O'Day is coming, you'd rather miss up in the zone against him. Not in the strike zone, but up to make him chase.
One, two, out in front of it. Judge in foul territory with the assist. He hasn't had that feeling in a long time. Somebody actually trying to rip the ball out of Aaron Judge's glove. Saturday Night Live used to do that skit, Bad Idea. That's a bad idea. In a lot of ways, it's been this guy's day. Gary Sanchez, off a rough year last year, started off with a home run his first at bat. That came in the second inning. His defense has been on display. Called a good game with Garrett Cole on the mound. He's navigated through that bullpen. And now he leads off the bottom of the 9th inning. Opening day homer, the first as a catcher since Hip Hip Jorge Posada. And here's Jordan Romano, who is actually the only Canadian on the Blue Jays that gets the ball. See his numbers last year. With Kirby Yates gone, this is your closer, even though manager said we don't have one. Charlie Montoyo tabs Romano.
And he throws 100, Ravi. And we saw the strikeout rate last year in spring training. 6 2/3 innings, 15 strikeouts in spring training.
Last Yankee walk-off on the home opener was 1957. That's 97 right by him. There have been 5 opening day walk-off wins.
And it's tough right now. You have the shadows right in the middle. Not a good position to be a hitter in.
Speaking of flamethrowers and strike throwers, Nick Nelson warning for the Yankees.
Again, everyone who comes out of the bullpen throws 97 miles an hour seemingly these days.
I believe we just popped a string on the glove. He threw it so hard and it was caught in a way that the glove broke. Fact.
And Ravi, it's not just that he throws 97, 98, 100. He throws his slider at 91 miles an hour. I mean, it's, and he looks like a closer with that beard and with this interesting motion to get ready.
Yeah, little Steve Bedrosian like.
Sure.
Look out. 3-1.
Here we go. Power against power. See what happens. He went with a slider, 2-1, gambled on that one. Now 3-1. He does not want to walk him.
Does, misses badly. And a first big test for Jordan Romano. Leadoff man aboard, bottom 9.
And interesting to see what happens here. Does he run for Sanchez, brings in Wade? Because Wade will stay in the game. Instead, it's Tauchman that comes into the game.
I would have thought maybe Gardner.
I would have thought Wade, because then you go in and you leave Wade in the game to play second.
Jay Bruce, Mayhew to first, but
right. And then Higashioka would come in.
Well, Jay Bruce now with a huge opportunity. Ball 1, quickly he goes in.
Scouting report.
Who knows more than Aaron Boone and the staff?
That right there is scouting report 101. They know Jordan Romano is slow to the plate. Let's get the jump. Let's go. This has nothing to do with Danny Jansen. It's all on Romano.
Ravi, this is beautiful. This is how you win a game late like this. You advance on a stolen base like this. You get a guy in scoring position. We don't have enough of this in the game these days. We'll see what the Yankees do with this from here.
That's the problem when you don't have a lot of fans in the stands.
You can hear it all?
You can hear it all.
Tauchman at second. Jay Bruce, after a wicked slider, looks at a pitch moving away. And now 1-2. Just see, old-time baseball guy, you gotta get this ball in play to the right side. You have to.
Well, even if you hit it to the left side on the ground.
Yeah, now.
With the shift?
Yep. That would work. In the dirt. Good job, Jansen.
Excellent job. And Charlie Montoyo loves Danny Jansen for this reason. Might not be the best offensive player, but defensively.
And there's that weight loss, the added agility, added flexibility. Beautiful block there, and keep that guy at second.
Till the Voit injury, Bruce didn't know if he was going to be on the Yankees. And now he's got the count full, 3-2. Now, being the fan on opening day takes on a whole new meaning. We're here, we're at opening day, and we got a chance to witness a walk-off. Oh, he swung at ball 4 and a big out for Romano.
Fed off his aggressiveness right there, through a backdoor slider out of the zone. Jay Bruce goes down swinging.
Now Clint Frazier. Grounded out, and then back-to-back singles in the 5th and the 7th. Slider, and he came off it. Tauchman looked like he was going, and he did steal third. 90 feet away from winning this game with a couple of steals here in the 9th from Mike Tauchman.
And it's not only the time, he's already slow enough to the plate, but every single time he looks over and he goes home. Looks over and goes home. Does not change the looks, does not change the times, and give a lot of credit to Mike Tauchman, because he was coached about this, and he knew, I guarantee you this, he knew before the game that if Romano came into the game, it was going to be his legs doing the talking.
Fastball right by Frazier. In 4 years and 182 games, Mike Tauchman has stolen 4 bases.
And he gets 2 in the 9th of a tie game.
4 years, 14 steals. His season high was 6 last year. And here we go on a 1-2. Laid off.
Time for the slider. Showed him that high fastball. Danny Jansen. Time for him to try to block it if it's in the dirt.
Infield all in, and a slider that misses inside. 3-2 with DJ LeMahieu on deck.
Throw it again.
Slider.
Slider. It's been the most effective pitch for him so far.
He wants no part of LeMahieu with a go-ahead run at third and less than 2 outs.
Didn't chase. And that brings up DJ LeMahieu. As Aaron Boone likes to say, the machine
is in the house.
And he's mad. He's 0 for 3 with a walk.
Now, what is this discussion, Eddie?
Let him catch his breath. 17 pitches so far. Letting the defense also, Pete Walker going out there. He's sending a message, most likely from the other coaches, to where to play. But for him, it's more about execution. What have they done with DJ LeMahieu the entire evening, the entire afternoon? What are they going to do with him now?
Isn't it great, though? It's opening day. It's one game, 1 of 162, and you just feel the intensity of what this game means.
17 pitches so far, 7 fastballs, 10 sliders. Jordan Romano. I think they're going to try to throw him fastballs in.
So Frazier out. Do they right away run Brett Gardner?
If they do, guess what happens? They're going to walk him and they're going to pitch to Aaron Judge. I leave him right there at first base.
I want LeMahieu here more than anyone on this team.
Slow roller. They'll come home with it. And the tag is applied. Nice job, Kevin Biggio and Danny Jansen, as Tauchman is gunned out at home.
And if I'm not mistaken, earlier in the games, our researcher Sarah Langs has told us that 5 times DJ LeMahieu went 0 for 4 in a game. Game 1, 0 for 4 with a walk. Good play, good execution. Danny Jansen making sure he makes the catch, both hands, applies the tag.
Well, here's Aaron Judge, runner in scoring position. Swings at a slider, his kryptonite.
Kryptonite is anything in the lower third. Fastball or slider. LeMahieu keeping an eye on Gardner. I think if Gardner can get a jump, I'd go right here just to make sure that Romano tries not to throw a slider in the dirt. Romano has yet to change his looks at second. They call him a one-looker. Looks over at the runner and then from there immediately goes home. Let's see what he does here. Takes a look and goes home.
Up high, 2-1. Backdoor slider, an effective pitch, and it's 2-2.
Slider again, Eddie, or?
Yeah, but you
98 down.
You have to go down. Anything you throw Aaron Judge, if it's fastball or slider, has to be down. You got 2s across the board. 2-2, 2-2 count, 22nd pitch.
Ooh, he challenged him with heat and he blew away Judge with 97.
Wow.
Advantage both bullpens. They've been great. It's 2-2 and we have completed 9 hits combined. And so we will start the extra inning with a new pitcher and a runner on second base. And this is Nick Nelson. Yankees had a threat. Mike Tauchman never really got that left hand in there, and he kind of rolled over his own left hand. We hope that's okay. And then Aaron Judge just got smoked by 97 from Jordan Romano. The game on to extras. Aaron Boone talking about Nick Nelson earlier today. They love his ability to command the strike zone, his velocity. He'll get 8, 9, and 1. Randall Grichuk will lead things off. And he and Sanchez are going to try to get on the same page. Marley?
And we know that the Rays have famously called their bullpen the stable that throws 98. The Yankees have a new facility, a pitching facility of the player development in Tampa, which they cleverly nicknamed the gas station, precisely because of all those guys that can also throw over 98. And here's Nick Nelson.
I like the gas station. I would have thought, though, if you really wanted to just rub the Rays, you call it the stable.
A stable. Yep. Stable of 98s in the bullpen. I got
Exactly.
You got Shioka now behind the plate, trying to get together there.
So Higashioka comes on for Sanchez. And Grichuk to right. Judge turns around, goes back, can't get it, over his head, and then the ball bounces over Judge. Run from second is in, and just like that, Randall Grichuk drives in Davis, and the Blue Jays lead it 3-2. Randall Grichuk delivering in the absence of George Springer, and a big RBI.
Have a day, Randall Grichuk. Second hit of the afternoon. This one over Aaron Judge's head, and it looked like he didn't see it that well. And it's not like the sun is in their eyes in right field. It's mostly affects the left fielder.
Jonathan Davis, who had gone in to be the runner at second for Tellez, makes it 3-2.
Just to show you how strong Grichuk is, that ball was in on him, and he went and got it and drove it to the opposite field. Yankees have made other defensive moves here. Tyler Wade's at second, LeMahieu's at first, just like we were told before the game. This strategy, you got to have your best defensive team on the field when you start with a runner on second in top of the 10th.
105 off the bat of Grichuk, and that is a low fastball for a strike from Nelson.
And he throws 98, and Aaron Boone told us his changeup has really come along. He's just had trouble throwing strikes until this spring when he figured some things out, but he's in some trouble now.
See if he lets him swing the bat here. 1-1 count. Nope, he's squaring around.
I'm all for that, by the way, Eddie. You got a 1-run lead. You got your 9-hitter up. Guy's throwing 98. Let's push a bunt over and get him to third with 1 out.
You know you're going to get that fastball, and that's the only reason I was saying it, because he did not look too comfortable squaring around. Now with 2 strikes, just let him swing.
Oh boy. He offered. Higashioka will throw him out.
We never bunt anymore, and this time they're bunting with 2 strikes.
Change up to go with it. Higashioka, nice job of just being as quiet as possible.
So again, just for those of you, we got LeMahieu playing at first base now. He moved from second. Wade is in at second. Gardner is your left fielder. And Higashioka behind the plate. Top of the order, Semien. The idea of the base runner on second, which will rub purists the wrong way, was to expedite the extra inning games, to do away with the very long games, which would eventually hurt a bullpen if there were multiple games like that.
I am clearly not in favor of this rule, Ravi, except in a COVID-affected season, which this one is again. So this is a good idea for this year. When we go back to traditional baseball, I can live without that.
Welcome to traditional baseball.
Baseball tonight, we had the commissioner of Major League Baseball on, and one of the questions would have been, what are some of the other concepts that are being kicked around? They've made some changes in the Major League Baseball office with some former executives like Theo Epstein, etc. there to come up with ways to make the game perhaps a little more interesting with a little more action. Think of the conversations with the managers about that particular rule. I don't remember too many of them who were down on it, but they're trying to save their bullpen.
Precisely. We got to keep players healthy. I understand all of that.
2-2 from Nelson, and he got him. Semien is gone on strikes. Remember, the Yankees will bat in the bottom of the 10th. They too will start the inning with a runner on second base.
Well, this is nasty changeup. We've seen already 2 strikeouts from it. Once it hits the shadows, difficult to pick up.
Semien, Biggio, Bichette 0 for 13 today. Top 3 in the order have yet to get a hit. Meantime, Teoscar Hernandez on deck, 3 of them. Bichette first, then Hernandez.
You know, Biggio moving to third this year is another critical move. He's played second. He's played the outfield. Craig Biggio, his dad, who moved all over the place, said, look, I had a whole spring to get ready. I had time to get ready to do things. My son is moving like on the spur of the moment. It's way more impressive what Cavan's doing, according to his dad.
Strike 3 called. Nick Nelson after giving up that Randall Grichuk RBI double off the wall. And now it is up to the Yankees. 3-4-5. More bullpen debut, and that's against Castillo that the Cardinals got all those runs, right? I mean, he was starting for the Reds. He was a Cy Young candidate in a lot of folks' eyes. Here's Julian Merriweather. See what he did last year. And Charlie Montoyo will tap in as the Yankees will start with a runner on second, down a run.
Yeah, and Charlie Montoyo has loved what he's seen from his bullpen. They've been nasty. Tyler Chatwood first, then David Phelps inducing the ground ball. And then you talk about Rafael Dolis coming in and getting 2 big strikeouts. Then you give it to Jordan Romano. You want emotion? He'll give you emotion after this fastball right there. Excellent job by the Toronto Blue Jays bullpen holding the New York Yankees.
So he throws the 4-seamer 57% of the time. Average velocity is almost 97 miles an hour. So we're going to see a lot of what Romano did, and that's throw as hard as you can here.
So Judge, final out. He will be on second base for Hicks. .97, and on the outside corner, strike 1. The Yankees have had chances today.
Ravi, they've left 9 guys on base the last 5 innings. Big chance in the 7th, big in the 9th, didn't cash in.
Ooh, 97 to an 80-mile-an-hour changeup. Good luck.
Again, Eddie, this is what makes pitching so good today. Everyone throws hard, and everyone has a secondary pitch that you have to deal with.
Worst case scenario, he has to try to put this ball in play to the pull side. Get Judge the third. Oof.
Called strike 3. Change up on the lower part corner. And Merriweather doing what his bullpen mates have done all day. They've been terrific.
Look, Carl, one thing that the Toronto Blue Jays have done, especially against Aaron Hicks, is establish and execute this pitch right there, the changeup away. You said it earlier in the game. That's a pitch that he struggled with. And you talk about paint. That right there is hitting the corner.
Remember, Charlie Montoyo told us before the game, we don't have a closer.
Yep.
But he's had 4 or 5 guys who've gotten some huge outs in this game.
Another good pitch. Strike 1 is Merriweather works quickly. Yankees have struck out 11 times today.
Gotta watch out with G, though. One swing could be a quick turnaround and a W for the Yankees.
Another one at the knees and ahead of Stanton.
That was right there his pitch. Down in the zone. Pitch that he loves. Now, if you're Merriweather, just throw one mask high to Jansen. Just go up in the zone.
Yeah, he got him swinging at a filthy 99-mile-an-hour fastball. And listen, booing the umpire, booing the hitters.
Oh, that's all hitter. I miss the fans. And let go 2 pitches in the zone that he likes down low, then swings at the one that he doesn't.
Up and in, Eddie, the one you told us earlier, that's the pitch he has the most trouble with, and that was way in.
Gleyber Torres.
Again, Ravi, if this is the 5th guy out of your bullpen and he's throwing like this, Charlie Montoyo was right. I really like my bullpen.
About that. 7 pitches, 7 strikes. And there's some diversity in this portfolio. Fastball, sliders, and changeups.
Torres, and that's foul. And now the Blue Jays are a strike away from taking game 1 of this 2021 season at Yankee Stadium.
So if he strikes this guy out, it's an immaculate inning, correct? 9 pitches, all strikes, 3 strikeouts, correct?
Yeah. Runner at second, though.
Not his responsibility.
What do you do with that, Tim?
That's my point about this rule.
The 0-2 pitch in the dirt. Oh, how good has Jansen been behind the plate?
He's always been a good defensive catcher. He's even better now with some of the adjustments that he made.
There goes the immaculate inning.
There you go. But he'll take 3 punches in the 10th to protect a 1-run lead.
Judge, the tying run out there at second base. Torres again out of play. Dave Fleming, Jessica Mendoza ready with the Dodgers and Rockies. Got him, 99, and pure gas as the Blue Jays roll into the ballpark in the Bronx and beat the Yankees 3-2. They strike out a dozen Yankee hitters, and for a depleted bullpen, what a good start for Toronto today. They win it. We'll see you on Baseball Tonight at 9 Eastern Time. And of course, it's Dave Fleming and Jess Mendoza.